Listen, listen, listen. Welcome to Monday Night Ramblings, where I will ramble on for maybe 3 hours. There's not a lot of news, and to be honest, the topic may go by pretty quickly because, once again, I've talked about it before. I have these great ideas for topics, and it's hard to come up with a new one every week. Sometimes they seem great, and then you spend 30 seconds and you're like, I've got all my ideas out. But anyway, thank you guys all for tuning in. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Hope everyone had a wonderful beginning of the week. And once again, thank you guys all for giving me a little bit of your time, being able to decompress on a Monday night. I know a lot of people tune in just like this is kind of like their little bar to chat in here. So not a lot of news, like I said. Not a lot of pickups. No videos that I technically did this week. Um, Sometimes you just need to get away and not point the camera at yourself. Although I did record other stuff, I did another live, other things like that. So, um, anyway, yeah, this weekend was, yeah, it was just a very random weekend. Not too much going on. Saturday, or I mean Friday, I think Olivia and I watched some TV. Uh, I stayed away from any lives, I believe, on Friday. Saturday, have to do your running around, some fun stuff like that. Uh, I went on with I went on Smoking Joe's with about 84 different other people, as Woody and Dominique and Tony were not available, so Shane wanted like five, I don't know, like 53 people to fill in to try and make up for them, which is fully understandable. So thank you to him for having me on. And then I finally got back to recording on the TV terminal, Marshalls. So check it out if you haven't. I know a lot of people weren't happy with it, it sounds like, but I had no issues with the episode. And we're going to talk about that, what we kind of did there, as I go on a little bit further. And then Sunday, you know what? We I did my running around, and uh I had to go out in the morning, went grocery shopping, and Olivia needed to go to Target to get something, and we always go to, anytime, she can kind of use that Target to get me to go. Then we went out to dinner. Afterwards, just her and I. We stopped at this Mexican place, and it was funny because we're sitting there, and the waitress comes up, and she introduces herself. I'm not really thinking too much of it. And then Olivia's like, she goes, that girl really reminds me of somebody. And I was like, I have no idea who. And she's like, yeah, she goes, I hung out with her at when Andrew finished up school in elementary school a long time ago. I mean, again, that was like fifth grade or something. And she's like, yeah, yeah, that one friend I don't remember. Her name was Ava. And I go, that's what the waitress's name was, Ava. And she's like, wait, what? And and I knew exactly who she was talking about. And I like to make people feel uncomfortable, but not in a bad way. So she had to call her mom just to figure out what the last name was. They do have her dad on Facebook. And I'm scrolling through it, and I show a picture. I'm like, there she is with her dad. And Olivia's like, she goes, don't. She's coming. And she comes over, and I go, and I point my phone to her, and I go, is that you? And she kind of took a step back, and she's like, what? And I'm like, and Olivia's like, yeah, we hung out in school. And then she remembered because she had said something to Olivia about her phone case. So that was actually kind of comical. Olivia was not expecting me to do something like that. So I think I've mentioned it numerous times. I would do stuff to make people feel uncomfortable, but not in a bad way. Although I know how you sick fucks are, so you may be like, "Oh yeah, that's not cool." It was funny. Anyway, maybe you just need to be there. I don't know. I'm just rambling on. That's literally the name of the show. So anyway, uh, again, the weekend was not very. Wasn't much going on. worked out, trying to get that down. Finally training legs again after way too long not to. And I gotta say, uh, it's one of those love hate relationships you have. So uh, got to get back in shape. The whole convention scene is coming. That convention time, which we will definitely be talking about soon. So anyway, um, let's say hi to the chat. There are 40 people watching right now. So if you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It is greatly appreciated. But starting from the top, let's hit it. We have hi, it's me saying, I don't think they are. Speaking about the conventions, I've never seen my name on a convention list. Well, there's always that first. We got Sean Forrester, who I actually did meet at the last convention that I went to, which was Assembly Required. Paul Morales here. David R. We have Russell Lemieux, Machine Man. We have Beardy McPherson says, I haven't been to any conventions. Too peoply. Joe Fest sounds like a lot of fun though, and that is exactly what we will be talking about soon. Uh Woody Triple Two is here. You know what Woody gets? I've been kind of forgetting to give him, and that is the because he loves the fart noise for some weird reason. I'll be looking to see. I'm looking forward to finally getting to see him. I meant to actually text you earlier today, Woody, about how the convention went yesterday. U.S. Combat Dojo jumping in here saying, I booked my room and tickets this weekend for my first Joe Fest. Can't wait. You know what? You're gonna have a great time, and I'll know for a fact because you'll be there, or I'll be there, and we'll make sure you do. MCR says maybe it's time to trim that mustache. It might be, but I've been, kind of lazy. Nolan, which makes us Toy Tube official. We have HK of Viper joining us. Who else is here? We have MTC Collects. We have Derek Holloman saying, hey, everyone. And let's see, Snow Wolf. I put the L in there. I know everyone gets mad if I don't enunciate the wolf. Izzy Trevi jumping in. We have David T. Allen saying, hello, Punk. Thanks for inviting me on a Thursday with a friend. I had a great time. I had a great time with you. And I'll tell you what, man, you read the comments, a lot more than normal. A lot of comments about that it was the best show that they had. They really enjoyed you, how excited they were, just how upbeat you were, which I know is something that I'm not saying you try to do. It's who you are, and you give off that that upbeat feeling, that happy-go-lucky that I feel like you are in real life. So we got Callister or Cal Shave is here. Ultra Mesh jumping in here saying good evening, everybody. And let's see, is there anyone else? I know there's a few other. Is this Allison Troy? I hear this guy never even had a flag, but he has a G.I. Joe channel. Hey, to each their own. Cooking with Eric. We got Gun Bunny jumping in here. Debo DNA, who I will have something later on this weekend, or a video later on this weekend, or this week, is not the weekend, this week, of something that was sent to me that I think you guys are going to enjoy. I know so many of you love the 3D printed stuff, and this is going to be something you're really going to like. And I'm looking forward to doing the review. Just got it today. We have Rob jumping in here saying, you should wear a green turquoise vest. You look like a gung-ho. Hold on. I don't feel like I've ever seen you before, so.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
Now, I have not heard the gung-ho, but I think most people know. They say I look like the Leatherneck, or as it's now known as Larry Neck. But I can kind of see what you're saying. I think I still think more like Sarge, which I never realized if I do this. I got that. If I push out my chin, I never realized I look like Sergeant Slaughter, and then it got pointed out to me. Alex Martinez. We have one moderator, Matthew Matson, jumping in here with the okay, you're just sitting there waiting for it to end. Action Figs, Ed, my other moderator. We have Prime Artist saying hello. Let's see, is there anyone else? Toy Optics, one of the guys from Circle of Jerks saying, getting in shape for the convention season. You planning on wearing a thong and nothing else as you walk the floor. Hey, Club Tarkin, don't you bathing suit shame me. All right, you understand that? Billy Butch is here. Clint Jorgensen here at Same Time Toys, who once again, thank you so much for asking me to be one of 84 people to jump in and help fill in for Woody, Tony, and Dominique. And let's see here. Prime says, I have been to 2 conventions, the last PowerCon in Columbus. I was at 2023. I was there also. And my first Steel City Con outside Pittsburgh last year. Yeah, I think, wait, I am correct. I believe PowerCon is coming back this year. And it's within a, 4-hour driving. I think 4, maybe 5 hours. I think it's in Cleveland this year. I might go to that if that's actually where it's at. I think that it is. I could be completely wrong. Cobra Commander jumping in here. We got Viper Scout, one of my good 3.75 buddies here that knows way too much about G.I. Joe lore and military knowledge just in general for someone who has not served. Great to have you here, Ed. Did I say hi to Russell Lemieux? There's Tony's Fig saying, what up, fam? And I think we have hit the end here. Clinton Jorgensen saying, SteelCon is a great one. I always wanted to attend. And Gus Felder saying, what's good? What's good? My hope all is well. Man, I swear I've never seen that name. So you quickly get the...
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
And Ed says, yeah, I think PowerCon is in Cincinnati. That is actually what I did mean is Cincinnati, because Cincinnati's at the bottom of Ohio. Cincinnati is another one of those states, kind of like Toledo. They're trying to get out of Ohio. I mean, hell, they're even trying to be part of Kentucky. So I think that's like a 5-hour drive. So depending on when it is, it might be something I'll take a day drive to. I wouldn't have to stay the whole weekend. I don't know if anyone else is going. So Soul Brother number 1 saying, what's good, Lawrence? Remember, funk is its own reward. Stu for lunch saying, by the power of typing, I say hi to Ken. My joy is huge for you all. Oh man, Gus Felder saying let's go, and then Big M. We got some guys that we haven't seen here in a while, and then some newer guys like Hinderer Collector saying yo Sub Punk and all yo Joe. All right, and then Stu for Lunch has gifted 1 Punk membership, and that went to, I don't know, somebody. Big M got that, so you know what you're gonna get. If you don't know, my glasses are, well, these are my older glasses. It's very difficult for me to read. So anyway,
welcome to the creamery.
And that goes to you, Big M. All right. Okay, so quickly here saying, I want to read what Prime here says. The PowerCon people are having a Masters of the Universe CentricCon in Cincinnati, and then an actual PowerCon next year without a location announced yet. That's what's really weird. And again, like, PowerCon is supposed to be Motu centric, just kind of like Joe Fest, but at this point in time, we're just kind of combining them all. And I'm not talking about Joe Fest or PowerCon. They're all just kind of being combined to like a mix and match of stuff. But PowerCon is very hard to figure out what they're doing and how they're trying to do it, because we're all like, is it an actual show? Are you a little part of something? Which I don't understand, because they were part of Joe Lanta last year, or was it Toy Lanta? I didn't fully understand it. I mean, did you have a booth? It didn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, Cincinnati, and like I said, I enjoy it. I mean, I've spoken to Val in the past. He's the at least was the owner. I believe he's still the owner of PowerCon. Uh, but it would be nice to have an actual centralized, let's say Motu centric, but it's more for the independent companies and who they're able to bring in. And I love Joe Fest. I think that's probably always going to be my number one show as long as it continues, in the form that it is. But I wouldn't mind something that's 4 hours away rather than a 13-hour drive. I think my moderator Ed, he could also agree to that. Um, I think for him it'd probably be like a 5-hour drive, maybe 6. Much easier to swallow than that long ass drive down to Augusta, Georgia. So anyway, all right. So anyway, if you haven't yet, please hit that like button. Do all that good stuff. So anyway, I didn't really get much at all, but I did pick up another Royal Guard, and the only reason why I got this was I went to Target today because my final job for work was right by a Target, so I always want to swing in there, see if there's any clearance items, anything on sale or whatever. And as I was scrolling through, and I always go by the Funko Pops and that stuff, I saw a new Stitch Pop. If you're new to the channel or you're just tuning in, don't ever pay attention. My daughter, she collects mostly Stitch Funko Pops, and I saw one that I'd never seen before, so I grabbed it. I go to checkout, and I recently got a Target credit card, and it's just linked to my account. And I had a $50 gift card or something. I think I'm opening the credit card, but I have to use it by the 4th. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go see, and if they have another. Actually, I went back because they had a Grim Viper, but I'm like, let's see if they have a Royal Guard, because I have $35 left to be like $8 to get one. Scanned it, tells me out of stock in the back room, like I've been telling everyone. So I asked the lady, she went back, got one, came back, bought it for like $8. So I'm like, all right, this is my third one. I don't think I need any more. I don't know if I even needed 3, but I'll have it open soon. Not today. But it is an army builder, and they're giving you so many different options for the different head sculpts, different pauldrons, wings, capes. It is a fantastic army builder, but for that price, it's a hard sell. But I gotta say, this is I think it works out. So anyway, Prime says there's a new con in Newark, Ohio, which is close to Columbus. CraverCon, which I guess is going to be Mythic Legion centric. 4 Horsemen will be there. Also, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. That's interesting. Again, it's hard to do all these. I mean, some of these guys, and good for them. I'm glad guys like Jerk and Gaines. I think Woody's been going to a lot. Baldy seems to be hitting some. That East Coast is, you guys are lucky. It seems like the majority of the cons are over on that East Coast area. So I think it's great for all those guys that are over there, because again, it's nice to actually hang out and meet people in real life. And, I think as we get older, I don't want to hang out with people every weekend. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like just kind of being on my own and doing shit like that. So, but yeah, it'll be nice to see some other stuff. If some other shows are a little bit closer to me where I can shoot on out there, maybe stay a night, or even drive home. But I won't do another 4-hour drive. I won't do another 4-hour drive there in one day and then back like you did for PowerCon at one time. Krusty Old Crow jumping in and saying, when did 9:30 happen? I'm late. It happened. It's not even 9:30. It's 9:27 right now. So anyway, I got that. And then a while back, I decided, you know what? I'm going to break down and I'm going to get a subscription to Toy Collector. Just to support them, and they do have some pretty neat stuff. But I also got a subscription to Thrasher magazine. Most of you know that I am a skateboarder. It is my one true absolute love. I can't express it enough. I'll say this again. I hope every single person in their life has something that they love as much as I love skateboarding. Quickly, Grizzlehorn jumping in here saying, I love cons, but I always do early entrance when I can get when I can get there. When I can. Sorry. I love cons, but I always do early entrance when I can as they get packed as fuck. Zola was fucking nuts for general admission on Saturday. I think that's the way to do it, to be 100% honest, if you can get in there early. All right, so I decided to get Thrasher. Right, I have not looked at a Thrasher in probably 25 years, probably maybe even longer, about 25 years. So I'm just scrolling through it. I haven't read anything, and as I'm scrolling, I get to, I get to some, some stuff that I see that I kind of knew was happening. One was Modern Skate was actually seen in here. Now, if you guys don't know, Modern Skate is one of the biggest. I think it's the second largest indoor skate park. It is a skate park that I go to. I know the owner and everything like that. So as I'm scrolling through it a little bit more, now mind you, I've been skating for roughly 39 years or so. And then I get to this. Now you guys are not going to know who this is, but I had to message all the guys. Is this guy right here? That's Hank. Hank isn't a skateboarder. He's not an owner. He's one of the guys that helps out George at Modern Skate. He does a lot of the, he helps him build shit, kind of private contractor and shit. And here I am, like, scrolling through. I'm like, I see Moderns there. Their vert ramps in the back. It was the Numeric team or the New Balance team was there. The long not the Ferndale rail, the long rail that was built, and then I see Hank in there. I'm thinking, 39 years I've never been in Thrasher, nor should I have been. And here is a guy who just helps out around the park, and he gets in there because he's holding the Have You Seen Me, Animal Chin board that they did. So again, you guys don't know, but again, this is my show, so of course I'm going to ramble on about something like that. But it was just kind of funny to see that, and I had to message the guys, and I don't even think the guys working at the shop have seen it, because I'm pretty sure, like, if you have a subscription, you get it first before, like, the shop. So I don't think those guys have even seen it yet. So that was it. That was my big pickup, was getting a Thrasher magazine and actually seeing somebody that I know in there that is not a skateboarder. 3-star draw jumping in here, who also was on Shane, along with this guy Krusty O'Crow also. So but yeah, I'm all over the place, if you didn't know that. All over the place. So anyone that's new, I'd apologize, but I can't apologize. All right. I want to say thank you to David T. Allen. He was on Thursday with a Friend. Please go check it out if you haven't yet. Very interesting. I've met David. I, again, didn't know too much about him. Sometimes he comes off as a little quirky, but when you sit down and you get to meet a person, and that's why you never know who's behind these cameras. People will act a little different when they're on a show with multiple people. A lot of times they don't know if they should talk, if they're over talking people. They don't want to overstep their boundaries. And when you have a one-on-one with someone, for me, it's way different because everyone sees me Monday. I'm alone for 3 hours and they get to see my personality. They see me on Thursday with a Friend, but bringing someone on, they get to see exactly how someone is. And people seem to really enjoy that conversation. He was very upbeat and people like that. Believe it or not everyone wants all drama in their toy community or any community for that matter. We got Into Mystery jumping in and saying, do you feel sad? Do you feel sad when that Tony Hawk arthritis commercial comes on? I do. I was just watching the 9 Club with Tony Hawk that aired. I think it aired today. I didn't finish it. I gotta say, for me, I will always be so motivated by those guys. This is why I hate hearing about, LeBron James. He's 40 years old. Look at the high level that he's still playing basketball. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. I'm watching these vert skaters. I'm watching a lot of these street skaters that are in their 50s still ripping. They don't make fucking millions. Tony Hawk, he does. They don't make millions. They don't have, you know, trainers that are training them. They don't only do it for the money, they actually do it for the love of it. And I'll say it again, man. There's that saying that a lot of those basketball players say basketball's a man sport. It's a fucking pussy sport. Those guys are floppers. They drop down, act like they're getting shot. And I'm watching guys on skateboards go down like they did get shot and actually get up off concrete. Because guess what? There's no give on concrete and cement. Anyway, but no, do I feel I feel old every day. But he actually talks about the aging process and how there's certain things like, hey, you have to accept that you just can't do anymore. So you kind of move on. And that's how I felt for quite some time. And it's a mind fuck, man. It's tricks that you used to be able to just do like that. Now it's like you have to struggle or you really try and do. And sometimes you just move away from it. Like the risk is not worth the reward. Todd C jumping in here. How are you doing? And then we have Action Figures sold separately saying, have you seen him? Yes, exactly. And Hank's a great guy. He is a great guy. He really is. He actually just not recently, I think in the past 2 years, that he had open heart surgery. So he needs to take care of himself a little bit better. I think everyone would tell him that. But anyway, I'm all over the place right now. We have okay, so we got to get this right. I'm never gonna get it right. This is Chris Hart. We're gonna be Chris Hart. How is everyone doing? Hi everyone. How are you all doing? Sometimes reading can be hard. Anyway, man, I've missed a lot of people talking here. Quickly, Krusty O'Crow says, so if 90210 is drama, does that mean you do like drama, or just that you used to like it? Asking for a friend. It was once said to me by a friend, Viper Scout. He said, I hate drama. He said, that's a lie. I love drama, just not when I'm involved in it. And I kind of feel that way. It's fun to watch drama unfold from a distance. And that is 90210. And I actually said to Shane, because Shane has brought up one specific episode in 90210, and Olivia was at her friend's house when I was on with him on Saturday, and we had just watched the Donna Martin Graduates episode. And I remember 90210 way more than I should. Although as I'm watching it, I realize there's things I don't remember. But that is always the episode that sticks out. Because I told Olivia, I go, I'm telling you right now, this Donna Martin, like they all walk out so she can graduate because she got drunk at prom, which meant she wasn't going to graduate with them. I'm like, I'd be that one sitting in my seat going, fuck her. She's the one who went and got drunk. I'm not going to graduate because of this dumb bitch. But yeah, so Highsby says, who is the waitress from earlier? I'm having trouble following the story this episode. So oddly enough, Ava she's a sister of someone that my son went to elementary school with. And oddly enough, I ran into his dad at the skate park one day. He was literally there and he was literally skating with his young son that he brought there. And he's not a skateboarder like me. He had sandals on, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But I knew who he was when we started talking. It just happened to be it happened to be one of my son's old friends from high school. And I had no, I mean, I would not have recognized her. I don't even remember why I remembered her name was Ava, like when she told it to us. But when Olivia says, yeah, her name was Ava, I was like, that's what the waitress's name was. And they had already kind of started talking because she saw her phone case and she was like, oh, that's a really cool phone case. And she was like, oh, yeah, I just got on Amazon. And said, I'll have to go look. And as she walked away, I said to Olivia, I go, well, maybe her dad will buy her one. Well, and I think about it, her dad probably would have. And here is Wraith Mace. I haven't seen you in a while. Great to see you here. Evening, folks. We are the Hammer. I don't know if I'm the Hammer. I'm the Joe. Anyway, great to see you here, Wraith. If you never checked out his Thursday with a Friend, you should. It was the first episode of 2025, and he has a hell of a story. I literally brought him on as the first episode of 2025 because I like to kick it off with a big episode, and I like to try and end it with a big episode. Not that the ones in between aren't, but something special. And let's just say there was a point that he was like, hey, I can't do this, because I had asked him before, and I'll mention it because he had brain surgery, and he was he was explaining to me all the shit that he had to that he'd have to deal with through this surgery. It's a very interesting episode. Check it out if you haven't, especially if you're not watching his channel, especially if you're into Warhammer. Please check him out and go check out the episode. I think you guys will truly enjoy it. So, all right. This week I am having, there's a lot of 3D printed stuff going on. I already had one on, had Jack Custom-Ons not too long ago. I got 2 3D printed things that I have to review from 2 different creators. But this week I'm going to have John from Top Fun Retro Toys. He will be my guest. You've probably seen a lot of the reviews that I've done for Top Fun stuff. Him and I started working together, and finally got to meet him at Joe Fest, and didn't get to hang out with him too much. He had both his daughters there, and his wife wasn't able to be there, so he wasn't able to hang out with us. But I gotta say that the little bit of interaction that we got, I was like, this guy, he could hang out with us because he has that same type of sense of humor that we do. That it can be kind of raunchy. But yeah, so very, very interesting. And Ray saying thank you, thanks Punk, yo all. No, hey, you know what, I had a blast with you, and great to see you back here, man. I know I've seen you bouncing around some of the other live streams, and I know people are busy, so it's definitely nice to see you back around here. Gus Felder saying, I will be here every Monday moving forward. This is great. Thank you very much. I do my best to try and be entertaining. I know I'm not boring. That was one of the things I talked about early on with my moderator, and he said, you're anything but boring. So that makes me happy. And Roll Keeper, I'm trying to figure out if I said hi to you already. It has been a while. I haven't seen you around here, so great to see you here. All right, and let's see. Chris saying, how long have you been on YouTube? This is the 4th year that I've been doing the show. 4th year I've been doing Monday Night Toy Ramblings. I was doing YouTube. I started from the beginning of Classified. I mean, I had a YouTube channel. I had some skateboarding stuff on there. Nothing major. Like I wasn't doing YouTube. Even when I started doing the Classified reviews, I wasn't like a reviewer at the time. I was just kind of comparing them to the O-rings. But 5 years, 5 actual years of putting in time. This here is season 4 of Monday Night Toy Ramblings. So we've come a long ways. We've come a long ways. That is for sure. We've watched a lot of new YouTubers come in. Monday used to be pretty dull. And now you can see there's a lot of other toy tubers doing shows. And I always tell everyone, hey, if you have to pick a Monday night, which I don't want anyone to do Monday nights at 9 p.m., but if that's what works for you, come on in. Again, anyone can watch it on the replay, but I enjoy everyone that shows up here. So it's been, there was a long answer, 5 years. And again, you'll see that it is actually called Monday Night Toy Ramblings because I will ramble the fuck on. Matt O'Brien jumping in here saying, happy Monday, Lawrence and crew. And then we have Wraith Mace, who has become a member. I know you were a member at one time, but you know what? You're going to get the...
Welcome to the Creamery.
And you'll get the...
Fucking Phil Collins.
Because you became a member again. And Wraith Mace donated 5 Punk memberships that went to Gun Bunny, Mython the Python. We have, I don't know who Lou Listed is, Grievance, and Angry Elf. So you know what? We'll do the...
Welcome to the Creamery.
There's another one.
Welcome to the Creamery.
There's another one.
Welcome to the Creamery.
And we get one more.
Welcome to the Creamery.
I should just call up Olivia and have her do it. If you guys don't know that, we've renamed it the Creamery. The people said that we are milking people for memberships back in the day. Thank you so much, Wraith Mace. And then we have Cooking with Eric, a member for 22 months. So you get the...
Fucking Phil Collins.
And that is my daughter doing that. That's when she can swear around me. When Phil Collins music comes on. And Wraith May says, have you put the kids to bed? But I wanted to come and say hello and hit the like button. Have a great stream. Thank you very much. And great seeing you again here, Wraith. Hopefully I'll see you around. I know you're doing a lot of streams on your own, so great to see you. We got Tripwire jumping in here. We got Wolverine, which I really do like your play on words, saying, hey there, Punk. And then Matt O'Brien gifted 1 Punk membership, which, let's see. Do I know who that went to? Man, I should make my moderators like come on here and actually do some work. Toy Optics. That's odd that one of my co-hosts for Thursday with a Friend, he had to be gifted a membership, but that's okay. So we'll give him
Welcome to the Creamery.
My daughter's giving him shit anyway, so it doesn't matter. Gus Felder says, I've watched since I have been watching since I started with building my Joe collection. This is my 18th year on YouTube. I started with Classified back in October of 2025. Wow. You may not have a long ways to catch up, because I've seen people really catch up fairly quickly, but that is a lot to catch up. Because man, it's hard to believe that they put out as much product. I mean, we're on like 200 figures in just over 6 years now, I guess. So crazy where we're at. Matthew Madsen, my moderator, member for 30 months.
Fucking Phil Collins.
That's crazy. We have Krusty O'Crow, member for 17 months.
Fucking Phil Collins.
Oh, man. I'm way behind here. And then Clint Jorgensen, member for 21 months. I'm trying to catch Nolan.
Fucking Phil Collins.
So just knowing that I have had members for 30 months is crazy, because again, I wasn't monetized when I started doing this, that's for sure. Billy Boy's Toys jumping in here. Great to see you. All right. Toy Optics says, you don't need my money, Punk. Says, you don't need my money, Punk. I need my money. Yes. I understand that. I do understand that. And then Tony's Figs, member for 29 months.
Fucking Phil Collins.
All right. Okay, Viper Scout, member for 26 months.
Fucking Phil Collins.
You heard that a lot now. Chris Art says, I just started following like in the last 2 weeks. No, hey, you know what? People don't realize it. I know we hear a lot of these guys, they get mad over like repaints or stuff that's being reissued, saying, they're pissed because it's reissued. But the truth is, like, there's new people coming into the collecting community. There's new people coming into the YouTube community every single day, every single week. So I'm glad that after, going on 4 years, I haven't become extremely stale. That people still tune in on Monday to hear me ramble on about my life, my kids, what we did. Again, it's not always just a true toy show. I feel like there's so many shows that would just talk toys, and you do start to become a little bored with it. I put a lot of my, I probably put too much of my my personal life out there, but I think that's what people have come to enjoy. So, but I will say this: if you do enjoy this, tune in tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow on the Baldy Locks reviews for Circle of Jerks at 6:30 p.m. I can't even remember the name of our fucking show that we're on. Matthew says, I think Matt O'Brien and Allison are the only ones who have me beat in membership time here. Emperor Palpatine. He was the first member, if I am correct. He's no longer a member, and not the other emperor, not the one that, not the other one. Emperor Palpatine was the first member, if I am correct. He's no longer. Still follows me on Instagram, and we still chat every now and then. He still, watches a lot of the videos, especially the classic videos. Ed says Olivia is going to have laryngitis. Never mind, she never stops talking. She'll be fine. Again, you can kind of see which one of my kids is really like me, and it's the one that would just come in and interrupt. And if you don't know who Olivia is, then you're probably new to the show, and that's fine. I love it. Eventually, she'll come on here. She'll come in here. She knows on Mondays she can interrupt just because it's just me. All right. So I want to say thank you to Bees Battleground. He picked me up a couple of things from ZoloCon this weekend, including the Operation Monster Force exclusive, and then the O-Ring, Zergonaut, I don't know, something like that, from Skeletron. So I think he said he's going to be shipping them tomorrow. So as soon as I get them, I like to do my reviews. I am really looking forward to that Operation Monster Force translucent Blackwatch agent. It does look really cool, pretty damn interesting for sure. But yeah, so I want to give a big shout out to Bees Battleground. I'll say it again. This is why you make friends in the community. I know someone, they had a shitty comment when I said, hey, this is why you make friends in the community. When I talked about Tony sending me a custom of my dog Roman, and he's made some comment about like, oh, I thought you made friends to make friends, not to get free stuff. That's not what I was saying. You make friends, and then there's a lot of people that they bitch about not being able to get stuff, but it's like you're a dick to everyone in the community. No wonder why no one wants to help you out. So anyway, Billy Boy says, Punk, how is Roman? My older dog is hurt. He's been limping for days, having a real hard time with stairs. I would take him in and see if he needs to, if he's torn his ACL. He's doing better. I was hoping to get him in this Saturday, but the doctor wasn't in, so he's going in Saturday. He does better. He still limps a lot, but he uses it more. I am still worried that we're probably going to need to have surgery. He actually had an accident today. He actually, I think he had one accident since I got him 9 years ago, but he actually peed on the mat, and I think that it has to do with my son isn't here right now, and Olivia got home. She told me because she had to clean it up, and I wanted to see when he did it, and it was close. She would have already been home if she didn't have to stay after school, and you could tell he was going back and forth. He was going back and forth to the back where the door is. Then he'd come back, and he finally seemed like he just finally couldn't take it anymore. And unfortunately, it happens. I mean, as long as it doesn't continue to happen, we'll be good. I'll be good. So anyway, J Solo R saying, "Did you get the Black Series exclusive?" I do not collect Valaverse product, so the answer is no. I don't have an opinion on it. I do find it odd. A lot of people that really wanted it or enjoy Valaverse are kind of saying it's not that good. Other people are saying it's absolutely awesome. So I really have no opinion on it. But yeah, I don't collect their stuff anymore. So it's not something that you'll see me talking about or ever reviewing. So, but Beast Battleground, I know he just did one. He just did his review on it. So hopefully he can help you out with that. So this week we do have the classic videos came out, Dial Tone and the 2 mainframes. If you know what the classic videos are, they're just when I review the O-ring figures that I already have. I do have this week. I do have Iceberg, Sci-Fi, and The Law, not Law and Order, coming out. I do need to work on the Night Raven and the Terradrome. That's going to wrap it up for a while. I'm going to take a little break on the classic reviews till after Joe Fest, when there's a few more things that I can pick up, so I can move on to series, I think 7, either series 7 or 6 or 7, I forget. I'm getting stuff at Joe Fest, and I've actually been collecting a good amount of stuff. So as of now, the plan is to kind of settle back and then probably kick back in fall, getting that stuff going. But who knows? If I'm sitting down and I have time to record a whole bunch, I might just put a whole bunch out there, and I want to keep them consistent. So let's see here. Cooking with Eric says, Jeebus didn't have the cursor on the chat and sent me on the downward spiral. Yeah, I get that. And Billy Boy says, my dog was severely abused before we got him. He's afraid of everyone and everything. I don't know how to get him to the vet. First off, fuck anyone that abuses dogs or any animal for that matter, even shitty cats. And cats are assholes. Man, you just got to do it. You got to get them in there, man, because you want them to be around as long as possible, and you want to give them as good of a life as you can, but you just have to find a way that they feel comfortable. And again, most vets, find a good vet, but most vets are good, and they know the shit that they're that there's dogs that have been abused and stuff like that. So, but it is, again, my dog was given to us, but it wasn't because he wasn't abused. He was still a puppy, and they just couldn't. They had 2 other dogs, and they're like, he's getting too big, and he really needs to be an only dog. And for the most part, he was. We'd bring my older dog over now and then, and they tolerate each other. But I wouldn't say they were friends. And I don't think he realizes that that Sheldon has passed away, and I don't think he'd really care. But you want to keep him as long as possible. You want to be healthy. So yeah, you have to find a way to get them, get them in there and do your best. But that's rough, man. Again, why anyone would abuse an animal that doesn't do anything. But yeah, just do your best, man. Just, and again, if he's limping like Roman has been with a torn ACL, and I'm hoping he won't need surgery, but we'll see what the doctor says this Saturday. So hopefully it's good news, because it is getting better. It is definitely getting better. So anyway, like I mentioned, I got some 3D printed stuff that I will be reviewing, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. Most people like that type of stuff. All right. So I mentioned earlier the TV Terminal. That's another channel that I do with somebody, Adam Vale. It's his channel. We basically break down specific TV shows. Right now, we just started doing The Marshals. I understand there's a lot of people that don't like it. I actually enjoyed the first episode. It's one of those issues. It's one of those things where some people think they are tainting the Yellowstone legacy. I didn't really look at it that way. From my understanding, Taylor Sheridan is not writing it. But if you want to check it out, the TV Terminal, we've done a whole bunch of shows. He does shows with other people. And a lot of people have enjoyed it. But if you really want a long breakdown of specific shows or whole episodes, that is what we do. So, and then before we get into everything else, and take a quick breather, I need, please make sure, if you're not, follow me on Instagram, A Punk with Toys. A Punk with Toys the second. That is my backup one from when I was banned from having my channel. I have my channel done now. I have my channel back now. So A Punk with Toys the second. That's my backup channel. So please head on over there, subscribe there. Also, we have a Facebook group page, something we have to talk a little bit more about. Punks with Toys. It's on Facebook. There are like 3 questions you have to answer. They are very easy. They are so we just do not get a whole bunch of bots. Something happened today that I haven't seen in a while, and that was 2 new people joined, and they actually answered the questions. It blew my mind. Blew my mind that somebody actually answered the questions. I know 2 people in a row. So anyway, please head on over there if you haven't yet. Follow the page. There's no politics, no BS, nothing like that. Toy memes. If you have reviews that you do, drop a review. No AI bullshit. We've eliminated the AI. You can go to every other G.I. Joe Facebook group and find more of that AI crap. And you guys know what I'm talking about. The guys that make action figures move and they're all janky, and yeah, we don't have any of that. Toy Optic says, fuck, Bruce Campbell has cancer. I didn't know that. Did that just come out? That sucks, man. That sucks. Is it bad? I mean, all cancer is bad, but there's worse cancer than other cancer. So hopefully, Bruce, from my side of town, he literally is like a half hour away, or at least he was. But anyway, now I'm gonna have to look into that. Not right now because I'm doing a show. But anyway, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a quick break, then we'll get into the toy news. And there's not very much because we just had a big toy con.
And now back to Cobra News Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have received word that our field correspondent, Scrap Iron, is on scene at Mars Industries, and he has interviewed a few eyewitnesses and forwarded those statements over to us as he tries to get closer for a better vantage point on the fire. So let's take a listen to these eyewitness statements and see if we can discover what has happened here tonight.
All right, so I'm out here just ripping this mini ramp that's made by Mars Industries. Don't ask. I don't understand why they sponsored it. But anyway, I hear this huge explosion, and I hear all these people yelling and screaming that this thing's on fire, and they tell me to call 911, so I call 911. We got the ESU police here, and we got the firefighters, and wait a minute, don't you work for Mars Industry and the Iron Grenadiers too?
Oh yeah, that's a wicked fire, eh? Good bonfire for burning the moose on. Kind of reminds me, it reminds me of the one that we did at Justin Bieber every year at Stratford Festival. Just as much smoke, big flame. We do that to keep Sasquatch away. What'd you do yours for, eh?
Yeah, how you doing? I was walking down the street, hanging out, minding my own business. About to sit down on the park bench here and just enjoy my meal here. I got a nice little delicious lunch made by my wife, my lovely wife. She's a great cook. Sometimes not the best, but listen, We all suffice, right? And I'm sitting there on the bench about to open up my lunch box after a long day of working with construction workers. If you haven't noticed, I got this hard hat on, right? And I'm sitting here chilling. And next thing you know, I smell burning. And I go, what is that? And then the explosion, the loud, boom! Oh, what the hell was that? What's going on? You sound like Aaron Judge cracked a home run. I'm freaking out. I look up, and Mars Industries is on fire. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? The building just blew up. It's on fire now. And no one can have any answers. Nobody has any answers. Next thing you know, the fire shows up. The cops show up. Nobody knows what's going on. But damn things for sure, that building blew up. Now listen, I ain't no conspiracy theorist, but I'll tell you this. The owner of that building, he wears a metal helmet. Who's wearing a metal helmet? Just to do business. Something don't smell right. You understand what I'm saying? That building, that was an inside job. You can quote me on that. Thank you for having me on the news. I've never been on the news before. This is fantastic. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And before we go, I want to shout out some people. My man Shane, my man Woody, my man Mike. I appreciate you all. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you. I'm on the freaking news right now. This is fantastic.
Well, that was certainly something. So let's see if we can check back in with Scrap Iron and see if he's been able to locate Destro or the Baroness, find out the cause of this fire. Over to you, Scrap Iron. Scrap Iron. Scrap, are you there? Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties, and oh my God. Oh, I'm going to have to go over there now.
Fired? Have you recently lost your job with a major toy manufacturer? Tariffs got you down? You may be entitled to sharing your story on a major media streaming outlet. We want you to dish the dirt. Call Circle of Jerks at 900-555-0979. We will exploit you for our personal gain. That number again is 900-555-0979. Circle of Jerks. Every client gets a cookie.
All right, so that last one right there, that is Circle of Jerks. That is the show that I do with Toy Optics, Tony's Figs when he decides to show up, Baldy Locks, and Terry. He's like Terry. Action Media Toys. Over on Baldy Locks Review. So quickly, Billy Boys Toys asked, Snow Job is Krusty O'Crow, and the Punisher is Tony Legend series. You know, I like most people wanted the 2-pack of the Punisher and Nick Fury so I could replace the heads on that one Punisher because he has the yelling face and the other face that he has the bandana, which I really don't like. But now after seeing that and watching it so many times, I first off, I can't change the head sculpt. I need it. I also can't not hearing Tony do the voice. Now I just hear Tony's voice. Cooner's Garage jumping in here saying, yo, punk. All right. Tony's Fix. Tony says when he decides to show up. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, last week you were you were so excited that, hey, I have the whole month of February. I am off on Thursdays. But you weren't there Thursday. I'm sorry, Tuesdays. But you weren't there. So anyway, let's get to the news. Isn't very much. That is for sure. But let's get into this. Darth Burke says, I like Moss Man. That's his voice now. It's like Moss Man. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. That's exactly how I felt. That is you cannot not see it. Like, you can't not hear if Motu, which is what we're going to be talking about right away, if Motu ever does a movie and Mossman is in it, you're going to be like, dude, that's not his voice. Like, who the fuck is doing this voice? That is not what Mossman sounds like. Anyway, Masters of the Universe. This is the Chronicles, and this comes from, what is this? Ghost Historia. You can see his stuff in here. So it looks like he found the Skeletor Chronicles on the pegs. I believe this might have even come out last Monday, but I know I didn't get it in the stream. So it looks like this is Chronicles. Now what's actually going on with Chronicles is it is replacing, for the most part, Masterverse. I think Masterverse is still going to be available and still around, but I think it's going to be mostly through Mattel Creations. This is what we're actually going to see on the shelf. So this is the the new Skeletor that, again, kind of like G.I. Joe, like Marvel, they constantly bring out the same people over and over and over. That's what we get with these characters. It's what toy collecting is. um, Steven jumping in here saying, is that AI? No. No, that is what it's supposed to look like from my understanding. So, Toy Optics says Supplied Masterverse is going on a break. Yeah. But I think what we're going to see is we're going to see it, at like the same way they do with Motu Origins. It's going to show up on, it's going to show up at Mattel Creations. You're not going to see it at the store anymore. So, all right. Sean Forrester says, looks like it might be, again, for some odd reason, maybe because I'm not in the right groups, Motu news is not the easiest to come by for some reason. And I don't know why, but maybe it is. Actually, with Sean Forrester here. And then Smog jumping in here saying, hey, Punk, hey, chat. All right. But this is what I really wanted to talk about, and that is the new Scareglow. This is the Chronicles, and this looks really good. The detail on this is pretty nice, and I believe this is going to be like a $25 figure. So not super crazy at all, especially for not what we are dealing with now when it comes to pricing. But here he is next to the greatest glow-in-the-dark figure ever known to mankind. So you can see the height of him. He is different than the Masterverse one, so it's not like it's the exact same buck. But I look at this figure, and I think that this will fit in with your Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figures, your Savage Crucibles, anything like that. Like, I think it pops. And again, I don't believe it's supposed to be a crazy, crazy price. And at the same time, Toy says, can't wait for this Scareglow. And again, here you can see the size. So this is a 5.5 inch figure. He's clearly on that 6.5 inch scale. So this is the artwork that you'll see when we get to the boxing, which looks amazing. I've said numerous times, Motu Origins artwork is second to none. I'm not saying there's nothing as good as it, but it's as good as anything that you're going to see out there. And I don't think that this has changed anything. I mean, this looks really, really good. And Matthew says, a new Motu movie has potential. We shall see. I am with you. I hope that they didn't show all the good parts in the trailer. I think we all feel like that. But yeah, I'm excited for this. Billy Boy says, better than classified art. They use one artist. Well, at least normally, like, they use one artist, I believe. Some of the early classified art was really bad. Some of it was really good. And I think some of the classified art is really good. Early on, they had some really bad artwork. I don't think most would. I'm sorry, the Stalker art was awful. The Spirit art. And again, like they say, art it's subjective. I thought it was trash. Better than I can do, but that doesn't mean much. All right, so here we have, you're absolutely right. So that Skeletor was I think the cheaper line. So this is the Master of the Universe. This is the Chronicles. This is what is replacing the Masterverse, which is fine. I understand. I like that the fact that, Marvel Legends is still Marvel Legends. G.I. Joe Classified is still G.I. Joe Classified. They're not changing it around. I feel like Master of the Universe has changed it numerous times. And it's just, I like having one cohesive set, but it also makes it easy for people to get in and out of the line, or out of that subsection of what they're doing. Classified, they started numbering it, and they've hooked a lot of people. I'd say I'm hooked, but I was going to be hooked no matter what, because I'm still buying the retro figures that are not numbered. So Ed says, looks like Mattel is going to scale the Motu DC and wrestlers all the same scale bucks, and they should. But is it a 7-inch or is it a 6-inch? I think it's based on 6-inch, so I hope so. Steven says, yeah, I'm kind of confused right now as how many Motu lines there are going to be. Exactly. And again, the Origins, but then you have the Origin Filmation line, and then you have the Chronicles. And well, is that the Masterverse? And I think that it's actually scales a little bit shorter than the Masterverse. And then you got the Kid line, but the Kid line doesn't look all that different. At least like with the G.I. Joe, when they did the movie line, those figures were a little bit smaller, and you could tell they weren't classified. But these companies, they just want to make money. I mean, that's what they're doing, right? Sean Forrester says, I might get this Chronicles line. It should scale better with Legends and Joes. It feels like it should, but who knows? Who really knows? And here's the back of it. You're kind of seeing these glow in the dark skeletons coming out. Again, I think this will really work with your Savage Crucibles, your Mythic Legions, a lot of stuff that the Boss Fight Studios is doing. So it's that fantasy line that Ed and Travis feel is has the staying power, unlike superheroes and military lines. All right. So there you can see the artwork. That's what I was kind of showing off the other pictures. All right. Super 7. My favorite company. We are getting a RZA $64.99. This is the ultimate. I don't remember a lot about some of these Thundercat figures. I don't remember this character at all, but they do go up in price because they used to be $54.99. They went to $64.99. Did they give you more? No. Did they give you better articulation? No. What Super 7 shows you is usually really good. What you get sometimes looks like what they showed you. Other times it's not even close. But if you are into the Thundercats line, I would say this is the only place you could go. But we've seen that Mezco is going to start doing some Super 7. The scary thing when it comes to Mezco is, will they finish anything? Because they started doing G.I. Joe, and now it seems like they're out of G.I. Joe. And we're all just kind of sitting here waiting like, hey, are you going to do a Cobra Commander? Are you going to do a Baronet? Are you going to do any female figures? That's what we're really waiting on. And with talk of Hooded Cobra Commander coming, maybe they could do a Hooded Cobra Commander with an actual soft goods hood. That would be amazing. Matt O'Brien says, Super 7, do they always paint the faces? No. That would be correct. Toy Optics says Motu Thundercats are the best. Yeah, for the price that you're paying compared to this. Again, these usually look pretty good. Their articulation is absolutely awful. But if you're a Thundercats fan and you're into Super 7, this is going to work for you. Just know you're basically buying a statue that you can do a couple other poses, but you're never going to get anything. You're never going to get great articulation out of it. This guy right here, Matthew Matson, my moderator, he had an argument with someone who literally tried telling in the comments and in his review that the Super 7 Ultimate Snake Eyes had better articulation than the G.I. Joe Classified one. And let's just say it didn't go his way. So if I remember correctly, he just blocked Matthew for basically saying, dude, what are you talking about? Like this isn't even an opinion, all right? The articulation isn't even close to a classified. Not even in the worst fucking classified. Matthew says G.I. Joe Ultimates is done. Reaction Plus, Joe. Yeah, dude. So I was going through action figure 411. You see the price of your classified. You see some of them skyrocketing. A lot of them are below MSRP. And I want to look at Super 7. And their ultimates are awful. Their Reaction Plus figures have started to skyrocket. Like figures that I was sitting there just seeing on the shelves. Blonde Cover Girl looks like it shut up like $20. Fatal Fluffy is like worth like $90 or $100 on card. Like fucking crazy numbers. Which now makes me just kick myself. Like I wish I would have bought every Fatal Fluffy I could have found and just sold it on eBay. But yeah, that's the only thing I see from Super 7 that's shooting up. Not the Reaction, but the Reaction Plus. Pretty crazy. 3 Stars says that Deadeye Cover Girl saying, yeah, no, Deadeye Cover Girl. Yes. Just look. If you're bored, have a little bit of extra time, go to Action Figure 411, go to Super 7, go to G.I. Joe, Reaction Plus, and look at some of those prices. The twins, the BBTS exclusive is shot up. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that almost all of them are above MSRP. All right, NECA. Not very much, but we get this Ghostface returns. I believe this is going to be. I don't know if they've raised their price. They were $34.99. I think they might have gone up to $39.99. We've seen a bunch of Ghost Faces. Now, if you're into the Scream franchise, this might be for you. I am not. I will reiterate, I think NECA gives you some of the best accessories out there. But knives and stuff, they'll scale properly. They are based on a 7-inch scale. So if you're trying to fit these in with your classified figures, with your Marvel Legends, they are not going to fit. But yeah. Let's see. Steven says, I just got my Target shipment from using the Circle deal last week. What did you get? And Toy Optics says, okay, $37.99 to $40 depending on it. Yeah, okay. What were the gargoyles? Can someone tell me what the gargoyles were? Were they 35 or were they 45? I had them all. I still have most of them. But anyway, here's your Ghostface. Again, a lot of different accessories. It's that if you're into the toy photography and that, again, toy photography, doing shorts. I'm seeing a lot of people that do shorts rather than toy photography. And I think they do a wonderful job. I feel like I'm just too damn quick moving the shit around. Like I just can't be patient. These little accessories, the world building is great. Okay, the gargoyles were 35. Yeah, I couldn't remember. It's been so long since we got to buy a new gargoyle because NECA. But anyway. So here you go. If you're into, Scream, I mean, what they have like 84 of these sequels, right? I mean, I can't believe they're still making sequels to Scream, but I guess I shouldn't be shocked because that is what they absolutely love doing when it comes to horror movies. Just create sequel after sequel after sequel. It's kind of like a Taylor Sheridan TV show. Highest Me says, oh my God. Oh my goodness. Someone called Baldy Locks is selling Fatal Fluffies for $300 on eBay. Well, again, what somebody is selling and what people are paying are two different things. Remember that. I've seen a lot of people try and offer something that's way out of their price, and people laugh at them. And I'm just kind of like, if someone's willing to pay it, and I have not looked on eBay. I just happen to be looking at 411 action figure 411. 3-star says, I prefer doing reels on IG, but they always fuck up the format and transitions. Yeah, sometimes they work, sometimes they're okay. What sucks now is doing shorts on YouTube. What I was doing, and maybe it's just the iPhone, maybe there was an update to it, I don't know. I would do like, I don't know, 20 seconds of filming around the scene that I was doing, and then I would put the pictures, but I got to center them. It will no longer center. It just puts them back to where they're supposed to be. Like, I want to center it on the specific figure because everything I take pictures of is in, wide format, and it doesn't center it anymore. It doesn't allow me to put it where I want it to. Is what I'm saying. So I don't know what it's doing, why it's doing that, because they used to do it all the time. Anyway, back to Ghostface here. If you're interested, here's everything you're going to get. Multiple masks. Here's the artwork on it. You get an axe, a saw, a couple of knives, all these different masks. Now, I do think this is something that you probably could work on to your classified for, let's say, Halloween, your Marvel Legends. Hell, I guess you could even do your Star Wars if you wanted to. Matthew says, YouTube shorts just suck anyway. I've been trying to turn them off. I don't want to see them. Well, I don't know if you can do that. I just figure if I'm taking the pictures, I might as well turn them into a short if possible, right? No harm, no foul. It is in the genre of what my YouTube channel is about. So why not? But all of a sudden there's been this weird issue. We have triple D times 3. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why that made me laugh. All right, 4 Horsemen. Wow. I might say some stuff about the 4 Horsemen that will make the cabal absolutely hate me and say I can never show up at anything that they do again. But all right, so let's talk here. So this is their Kickstarter. Mythic Legions, a role-playing game. This is the Dwarf Fighter, $30 on their Kickstarter. Why do they have a Kickstarter? Because supposedly this will allow them to reach more people for their role-playing game. I don't know. We're going to talk about that in a second because they did some shit that I think is really shady. So anyway, here's a dwarf. It's just another Mythic Legions character, it's in the role-playing, but a lot of reuse. If you don't have any Mythic Legions, 4 Horsemen stuff, they make wonderful figures with articulation, their paint, their accessories. They have subpar articulation. I didn't say good articulation. If I said good articulation, I apologize. Subpar articulation, but wonderful sculpting, wonderful paint, wonderful accessories, and they look amazing. So this is this dwarf here. I know I'll let the dwarf jokes just kind of, start with me being short. But again, you can go get this. You're going to have to wait a little bit, but you have to wait on all your Mythic Legion. So that's not an issue. You're going to get it. They're not like a Kickstarter where you have to worry about them, taking your money and running. So here he is, back of him. You can see it's using the same system that with their back, that they can put wings on them and different things like that if you want to create your own character. This is the Mythic Legion, the role-playing game, the beginner box. Again, it is a Kickstarter that is up right now, dice and everything. This is the Mythic Legions role-playing game, the Skeleton Fighter, $30. I think this does look pretty damn badass. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. Again, this does look good. I don't have any other skeletons. I don't have any skeletons, to be 100% honest, but it does look good. You see everything that he does come with. The articulation does look decent, but not like what we should be getting. So here's everything that he does come with, so you can kind of change things up. But again, if you have other Mythic Legion stuff, you can do what you want. Anyway, and here's Mr. Wonderful saying, "Oh snap, it's a Punk with Toys figure with hair." Yeah, except I'm not fat like that. We're gonna talk about that in a second. So last week there was a lot of controversy for the Red Sonja, and because this head sculpt, along with just without the face paint, was going to come with the Zolocon exclusive figure, and someone from the Red Sonja camp, or the owner or whatever, basically started hounding people on social media that they're not the license holder and this and that, so they took it out. So now they decided to put it in Cosmic Legions. I applaud them for saying, fuck you. We'll put this head on Cosmic Legions. Now try and tell us that it's your Red Sonja. But hey, if you want to put that on that figure, you can put it on that figure. I applaud them for this. Just for the fact that how it was handled out on social media, I think was bullshit. If there was really that much of an issue, if you had a problem with the Four Horsemen doing it, there's private ways to contact them. They are a legit company, and it should have been done. But they pretty much said, fuck you, we'll put Red Sonja out in space. And if you decide to make her into the character that we were going to put this head sculpt on, and it just happens to look like the Red Sonja, well, that's on you. Now, that is not what I think is going to upset people, the Mythic Legions people. I got an email today, and along with most people, talking about their role-playing game. Now, they decided to do a Kickstarter, and supposedly the reason why they did the Kickstarter was it will allow people who do role-playing to find them easier. Now, I don't fully understand this. I mean, I'm not a role-playing guy. Do role players sit there and scroll through Kickstarter? That's what it sounds like. Like, that's the only way. I feel like advertising, you have the money to do it. Their goal was 90,000. They broke it in 5 minutes. I'm not being facetious. They broke it in 5 minutes. They backed the whole thing in 5 minutes. And I think they're up to like $70,000 right now. They sent out an email wanting, they're on their way to doing something else, and they want all the people to back as much as they can, which is what you want anyway. But they're basically asking their cultists, and I'm sorry, they are a cult. People can get mad at me all they want. It's a cult. And don't get me wrong, there's more than one cult in this toy community. But they're just asking people to back so they can make those numbers look higher. You are a established, legit company. I already don't like the optics of using a Kickstarter. Now, again, you already do the pre-order where you're taking the money, and that's fine. Other companies do the exact same thing. But when you put it on the Kickstarter, it looks bad. But then when you're sending out emails, and Matthew says that the begging email was total bullshit. And again, if you bought anything from the Four Horsemen, you've gotten this email. And maybe you feel completely different. I know some people do. But I guarantee you that the people within the cult will go and back it. And now maybe they'll end up backing away from it just so they can show their numbers to be higher at a specific point. I just think that there's a good way and a bad way. It's like, and again, if I'm about to offend you, well, maybe you need to be offended, right? Isn't that what fucking Suicidal Tendency says? You want to go to a con, you don't do a fucking Kickstarter for it, right? Cons, they are trips. I don't think anyone should do a GoFundMe or a send me money here, do super chats to get to a show. That's a vacation. GoFundMes are there for a reason. Kickstarters are there to start something for companies that don't have the money. But then to kind of send out an email begging for more people after you've already shattered your goal, it is bad optics. Now, it's not bad optics for the people that absolutely love them. People will also say, hey, you know what? Hasbro doing HasLabs, that's bad optics. And you know what? It's hard to argue that. But it's also not a Kickstarter, and it is completely different. And again, there will be people that will defend it, and that is fine. They can defend it all they want. Guys that do not just hook, line, and sinker buy anything that they want. And I have friends that are all into it. And again, I'm not criticizing anyone that wants to buy all their shit because I buy all the classified stuff. All right? I buy all the classified stuff. But I also have no problem criticizing when Hasbro and the classified teams do something that I think is not right. I think that's what most people have come to expect, at least from my channel, that I don't have a problem criticizing a company for what they're doing. And I don't think any of us should have an issue with that. But again, if you got the email, feel free to tell me in the chat what you guys think. If you think that it's cool, if it's all right. I just think that it's wrong. And I wasn't the first one that it was brought up to. A couple other people brought it up to me, and I have to agree with them. It's just low. Like, you've already jumped on Kickstarter when you're already established. You were gonna get everything. You were gonna hit everything, but now it's like, let's beg. All right, it's like bragging about all the trips that you took, for the past couple years. But then you have a Kickstarter, so you can go to, Legion's Con, Joe Fest, San Diego Comic-Con. It's bad optics. So, all right. G.I. Jetman has jumped in here somewhere. He's saying, hello, Punk and chat. Great to have you here. Jeremiah. Cooking with Eric says, only cult I'm into is Firewoman. Okay. With that said, the Cult is an absolutely amazing band. That is a true rock and roll band. But anyway, Cressio Crow quickly says, I was taught you don't bring up a problem unless you are ready to discuss the solution. Okay. Stu for Lunch says, I was very disappointed with them on that email. See, and to me, that is, again, I'm not the only one. And again, it was also brought up to me, by a couple other people. And this is where you start reaching and you start going, hey, you know what? They funded this in 5 minutes. Now, let's be honest. It wasn't one fucking role-playing person. It was the people that were going to fund their other things. Here's the other thing. And this may just be me just thinking out loud and not knowing anything. And I'm sure people will say I don't know shit. By doing the Kickstarter, you've ultimately shown everyone exactly how much money you are taking in when you put your stuff up. Every single wave that you're doing, you basically now have shown everyone exactly how much money you're taking in ultimately right at the beginning from the people up front. So if you hit 1 million, people can quickly look at all those figures and be like, wow, they did 1 million here. Well, that's a regular wave, not even with bears and big orgs and stuff like that. I'm sorry. I just think it's bad optics. I've heard other toy makers say the same thing. And even if I don't agree with that person in general, sometimes they make good points that you have to agree with. And again, I buy their product. But I'm buying less and less of it. I can say that. And not due to any of this shady things. I'm just making decisions right now financially. And to me, like, they're not making me want to buy more by doing stuff like this. Nolan says, yeah, that email was unneeded. Stufan says, felt like a move by a more fly-by-night company than established line. Yes. 3-star says, now I'm reading that email. I got it too, but didn't read it. Read it and tell me what you say. Tell me what you think. Rowdy Riles jumping in here saying, howdy. Matt O'Brien says, anyone should be able to criticize something they spend money on. I'm a classified fan, but hate how they cost needed items out of figure packs to save money. But okay. And again, when I defend something, understand I'm not always defending it from my point of view of what I want, but that is how corporations work, right? Things are always costed out, no matter what it is, and you know this. I mean, you're a smart guy, Matt. I've talked to you before. You're a smart guy. MCR says 3D calls is really cool. That's where you get a lot of your 3D printed stuff, or where you can get files and different things like that. If anyone is wondering what that is. Wade Hollison says, couldn't you have started this topic after my Kickstarter fund for the forgot? Couldn't you have started this topic after my Kickstarter fund for forgetting me to Joe Fest? Shake my head. Sorry. And again, my personal opinion, other people will disagree. I have friends that have asked for money to get places. It doesn't mean that I dislike them. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to talk to them or, not be friends with them. I just disagree with it. I can't come on here and say, you know what? It's going to be really rough for me to get to Joe Fest. I don't have the money, but if you guys could send me some super chats, if you could here's my PayPal, it would be great. It would help me get there. Oh, by the way, check out the $300 of fucking toys that I have up for review that are coming out this week. Those optics are just really fucking bad. Oh, you have money for toys to do for your channel, but you're going to beg me and everyone else to get you somewhere? Yeah, no. But that's just me. I think Kickstarters are there for a reason. And not Kickstarters, but also GoFundMe's and stuff like that. All right. And again, that's how I feel about things. Not everyone does, clearly. I know a lot of people do. Action Figure Soul Separate says, I'm not a fan of any company, big or small, pursuing the base to pay for their risks. Again, I think I think Kickstarters are there. And again, when you are established, I don't think that you should use it. Even if you're starting a new line, and again, if your whole token on it is, hey, you know what? This is going to get us in the eyes of these role-playing people. I feel like there's advertising. There's literally people that go to school for advertising that you could reach out to and be like, hey, how can we get in front of these people without doing a Kickstarter? Because the Kickstarter makes it seem like, hey, we need your money to get this done. And I'm not talking about I know AWOC has done it. I had an issue with AWOC doing it. It was explained to me, and I'm like, that actually makes sense. Okay, they're still a smaller company. They're not really established, even though they have specific lines. Four Horsemen is completely different. And I know it probably feels like I'm picking on Four Horsemen, and they'll probably never send me something again. Or, well, I pay for all my shit, so they don't send me anything. And I'm sure someone will be mad at me. And again, I won't lose any sleep over it. But just my opinion. That's why I have my own show, and you guys can have your own show and can go criticize me if that's what you want to do. Crab's jumping in here. Sean Forrester says that email went straight to the trash. Well, that's what that email was. That is what that email was. Now, MCR says, but there are people that do RPG games, but not action figures. That's the market. And I understand that. And I understand that. But what I'm saying is, I feel like there's other ways of marketing an RPG game to those people that aren't toy collectors. That's all that I'm saying. That's all that I'm saying. And again, maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't run a company. So, but I'm just saying, for me, the optics is really, really bad. Matt says, I'd rather pay $1 more per classified figures and have it come with the extra hands and more accessories. But you would, but they can't do everything on what you want. And people are already mad that they're paying now $28 for the figures because, unfortunately, things have gone up. And remember, $28 doesn't go in the pocket of, Hasbro. There's a lot of other people that need to get paid. And I don't need that many hands. Mr. Wonderful Travis says, I get the idea of using the Kickstarter for the RPG aspect for sure. It really helps connect with a consumer that's unaware of their brand. And in the partnered with Joe Magnangella, whatever, for his figure. Okay. Why is it that everyone acts like the only way that an RPG game, a role-playing game, why is it the only way that someone can find out about it is if they're on Kickstarter? Is that, like, honest to God, like, is the only fucking website that fucking RPG players are allowed to go to is Kickstarter? Like, is that the only way? There's no way to advertise anywhere else. Like, honestly. Can someone please tell me that? There's no other way to advertise. There's no magazines for it. There's no other YouTube channels that you could get on. Like, come on. It's the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard in my entire life. All right? In all honesty, it's bad optics for many of us. And again, not everyone will agree. I understand that. But again, it's my opinion. It's opinions of a lot of other people. And it leaves a sour taste in my mouth for what they're fucking doing. Oh, shit, I shouldn't ask anything like that. Anyway, it just, every single person that's defending it is defending it like the only way that an RPG person can find it. Like, once you sign up, like, hey, I'm an RPG guy, like your Netscape, your America Online, and like it only goes to one fucking internet, one fucking website, and it's Kickstarter, and that's the only way I can find out about anything. Again, and then you see the email, and to me, it's starting to overstep your boundaries and getting too comfortable. Just my opinion. My opinion means very little other than the 78 people who want to listen to me. And, again, they may not agree with me, but I've already seen a few people that kind of, agree. Billy Boy says, I've never backed a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe. Like, I've backed GoFundMes, or I've given money to GoFundMes. I've backed Kickstarters. It can be, I'm still waiting on something from 3.5 years ago. And I've talked to the creators, and I understand why it's taking. And I have more of an understanding of why it's taking so long to get it. And it's disappointing, and they're disappointed by it. But it is just, again, if you're new to the channel, then you probably are going, why is he going on? I get something I like. I get fixated on something, and I got to get something off my chest. I'm gonna say it, and if it upsets people, if it ruffles feathers, and it makes people mad, then that's on you. Like you're the one that made it upset you. So, but yeah, G.I. Jetman says I've been setting money aside since November to get me to Joe Fest, and that's how it should be. And I tell everyone, I can sit there and talk about how great Joe Fest is. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. There's no shame in that. But I don't think for a vacation, and that's what it is, you should ever be asking or begging people for them to give you money. I vehemently disagree with that. Not everyone can go on vacations. It's a sad part of life. And if you can't go, you can't go. If someone has a GoFundMe because people told me I should do a GoFundMe for Roman when I thought that he might need surgery for his ACL, and he still might. I can't do a GoFundMe. How do I do a GoFundMe for my dog and then people see me buying all these classified figures and all these Operation Monster Force figures and doing reviews? It's very bad optics. Oh, well, maybe you don't buy your fucking toys and take care of your family and take care of your dog rather than asking us for it. Different if it's like, hey, you know what? Times are hard. That's why you don't see me doing reviews. I'm not buying much. I still do a YouTube channel because it's free. My dog needs this. And you show that it's being done. That's a little different when you're asking for stuff like that. Again, my opinion. When Hollis says, Dragon is so fucking sweet, though. I'm not disagreeing with this stuff. I'm not turning green yet. Krusty says, I don't think people are trying to argue against your point, but rather expressing other possible reasons Four Horsemen made such a weird decision. I don't know about that. And Toy Optics says, I'm looking for donations to my GoFuckMe. Good luck on that one, Spec. Bobby Wool jumping in here saying, I have money saved up to do Joe Fest. I just don't have time. And that's another understandable thing too. But anyway, I don't even know how we got to that, but anyone that's watched the channel before, they know I will go off the rails. One thing will lead to another. It is literally why it's called Monday Night Toy Ramblings. Odin01 says, I don't think everyone is trying to defend it necessarily. I didn't say everyone is. I did not say everyone is. I just explained it in the RPG tabletop community. Yes, Kickstarter is like the established existing advertising platform. And that seems kind of weird to me. But I still think when you are established as a company, and I'm not talking about the toy world, you have the money to advertise. It just seems like it's something that you could do elsewhere. And I'm sure they are doing advertising elsewhere. Again, just me. And here's the other thing. I will say this 100%. My opinion can be changed. Like if you can show me proof, if you can actually show me proof, I have no problem with looking at facts and saying, wow, I was wrong about something. I may fixate on something, but I am okay with like being given facts and different types of information and going, okay, you know what? I was wrong on this. But the optics of this still, and then again, this email that they send out basically wanting you, I mean, they're begging you to give them more money just to show that their numbers look better. Like it's just not a good look. Jay Solar says looking at it opposely from a tabletop gamer point of view, Punk. Yes, Kickstarter is a huge way to attract this market and potential turn them into toy collectors. I just feel like there's other ways, but again, it just seems like there's been one thing after another. But anyway, yes, as Spec says, Punk would change his opinion with free product. No, there's one thing that I do not do. But you know what? Let me take that back. I don't get free product, so I guess I can't say that for sure that I wouldn't change my opinion. My guess is that I wouldn't. I think most people have seen enough of me to know where I stand when it comes to certain things. But again, when there's new things brought to light, when there's new information, I think we all should take a step back and whatever it is. And again, I'm not talking about just this. We should all be willing to change our opinion with certain things. Like I'm waiting to get blasted over Hooded Cobra Commander because I know it's coming. I know it's coming when that figure finally gets shown off and people will say, "See, you were wrong." No, we weren't wrong. Things changed at Hasbro. Anyway, whew. Steven says, who are they trying to show better numbers to? They aren't a big corporation with shareholders. I have to see where it's at. I wasn't really planning on talking about it. That's why I didn't have it in the slides or anything. I don't know if I even deleted it. It's a very long. Yeah, I think I actually deleted it. I'm just scrolling through my. Yeah, I think I deleted. It's really odd. How it read. And again, I wish everyone. So now you got me fixated on this whole thing. I'm trying to find it right now. So it says quickly. It says this was the email. We need your help now to make Mythic Legions, the role-playing game Kickstarter, a record-breaking adventure. Calling all Legionnaires, we need your help now. Read on. We are exhibiting it at a trade show called GAMA this week. It says this event is exclusively for professionals from the hobby games industry. At this event, we will be presenting our offerings for Mythic Legions, the role-playing game, to a whole new audience, and we want to show them just how special Mythic Legions is and how much support we have for this brand. This is where you come in. Our Kickstarter for our game is blowing up. It funded in less than 5 minutes and climbing. As of this email, we are well over the 1,800 backers and 700K in pledges. Let's see. But we are hoping to go into this week's trade show, which starts today, even stronger. If you have not backed this campaign and you intend to, it would be wonderful for you to do so now. Remember that Kickstarter pledges, in parentheses, are not charged until the end of the campaign. So no payment is due now, and you can edit your orders at any time before the campaign ends. Our campaign ends on April 4th, so anything you pledge for today, from gameplay items to new action, I'm scrolling through it. Where is it? Yeah, so it's your choice. Your choice is yours, and tons of great items to choose from. Early pledges help show Kickstarters and those who will meet the GAMA Expo that this game and these toys are something special, and that maybe they should support them too. The more support for the campaign, the more people we get to welcome to the realm of Mythos. Use the button below to visit our Kickstarter page. But so again, to me, it was begging for something. Like you put a $90,000 thing on it. You're at 700,000, and you're sending something out. Hey, you know what? We need you to back this a little bit more. We need you to throw a little bit more money, so we can show everyone exactly how strong. Like, again, I don't know. It's bad optics to me. I think I've talked enough about it. I'm either making people agree with me more or making people be like, you're a fucking idiot. Don't go to Joe Fast. Bobby Wold says, it sounds like they're still trying to swell their numbers since you can cancel before the campaign ends. Yep. Kind of, and this is what we say when we're like, hey, it's the same. This is the exact same thing that we say when I'm like, hey, if you're going to back whatever HasLab it is, if you're planning on backing it, just back it. Because the more you sit there and you say, well, I'm only going to back it if it doesn't hit here. I'm only going to back it if it hits these. Well, if you don't back it, other people will think like that. But they've already smashed through those goals. It just, I don't know. It just, I don't know. Matthew says, now we're talking about Cobra Commander in a hoodie and a casual Firefly and jorts. All right. Yes, almost sounds like a political donation email. Yeah, I don't know. It's again, I didn't mean to talk about it for this fucking long. I really did not. Again, to me and others, just bad optics. And I don't know what other YouTubers are saying about it. I really don't. It's my opinion. Anyway, enough with that. I don't believe I will be invited to Legion's Con. I don't believe I'll be a guest of honor to Legion's Con. On to some G.I. Joe news, and this is no toy news, which I normally don't. I normally don't get into non-G.I. Joe toy news. But there was some news about I don't know why I did that. It moved the fucking picture, so now I can't read what it says. Anyway, basically they're saying the Deadline is reporting that there are 2 G.I. Joe movies currently in early development. Now, one is Danny McBride is supposedly writing one from the Righteous Gemstones. Now, Danny McBride does some amazing stuff. I mean, the Righteous Gemstones, the one where he's a pitcher. He's basically John Rocker. If you're a sports fan, you'll remember John Rocker, the racist. That's pretty much what it's based after. And then Max Landis is writing another movie. Now, I don't know who Max Landis is. It tells you he's the son of director John Landis. He was also in some hot water over some stuff that he allegedly did. Speck recently spoke on it, I thought, saying that like everyone that he knows that's ever worked with him doesn't regrets it. So I don't know anything about him. I know who Danny McBride is. Danny McBride is not the person that I would say, if I was saying, you know what, I want someone to write a G.I. Joe movie, Danny McBride. But we've seen other people in other genres that I would not have expected to write certain movies. They did a wonderful job, so I'm not going to discredit him. I still don't understand why, you don't go to Kirkman and ask Kirkman to do it. Now, I believe Kirkman is still doing a cartoon that would be based on the Energon universe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not keeping like tabs on this stuff all that much. It is great that Paramount feels like, hey, we think we have something with G.I. Joe still. The biggest thing once again becomes, do you have the right people? And, when it comes to G.I. Joe, there is already almost 40 years of a real American hero comics that you can pull from, yet nobody really wants to do it. And I don't want to see stuff based in Vietnam, but we can easily, just like they did with the A-Team, they pulled it up into, in the Gulf War and stuff like that, War on Terror. There's other things that you can do because the military is still running missions and will be running missions till we pass away. But there's an outline, and yet nobody wants to do it. Now, again, I don't know about Danny McBride and Max Landis. I don't know what they would want to do. I don't know if they are familiar with the property. Some people just know G.I. Joe and they're like, hey, let's make this work. I hope that if they're going to move forward, they remove Bonaventure completely out of any type of role, because he's a fuck up. He doesn't know the property, nor does he care. You want somebody that cares about the product, that grew up on it, but you don't want someone like me or Matthew or any of the other yahoos here in charge of it, because we don't write movies. You want someone who loves the property, who is also a movie maker, a TV series maker, stuff like that, right? That's what you really want. And Baldy Locks jumping in here saying they need to do a G.I. Joe movie, not a crossover. I would agree with that. But I don't know if this is a crossover. It sounds like these are supposed to be two movies that will merge into each other. But once again, if that's what you're actually looking at, now say what you want about the MCU. The reason why the MCU had been successful for so long is because of one person and one vision, right? He said, hey, this is where we need to get. Point, G is here. We need to get here using all these movies. We'll get there. I think it became too big after a while. But this is actually that's what they need. The reason why DC has never worked was because they had 5 to 10 different people pulling it in different directions and what they want to do and what their vision was. And then they go and, get James Gunn, who, I'm sorry, I still don't see him as a visionary. And we'll see. We'll see if that DC universe actually works. But yeah. And Tony says they need a Resolute continuation movie. Yeah, but we're talking live action. 3-Star says he also did the original Predator and half the other movies we love from the 80s and 90s. I guess I miss who you were actually talking about. But yeah, there's so many different things. And again, hopefully whoever they hire has an idea of what the G.I. Joe lore is and can make things work. And you need one visionary to be there and bring everyone, to the top of the TP. And that's where everyone meets in there and how they make everything work. So quickly, Matthew says the A-Team movie and the Losers movie were almost exactly the same. They even had their climactic battles in the same location. I saw the Losers, I think, but it's been a long time. The A-Team movie I really enjoyed. Was it a great movie? No. Was it enjoyable? Yes. Do I wish I would have done more? I do. And GI Jetman has gifted 1 punk membership, so you quickly get the.
Welcome to the Creamery.
And that goes to J Solo Arts. So GI Jetman, thank you very, very much. Anyway, it'll be interesting. I don't see them not doing another GI Joe movie or the property. It seems like there's just too much money in it right now. Whether or not those first 2 GI Joe movies were considered a success by Joe fans, they seem to be fairly successful in, making some money for the studio. I don't care about making money for the studio, but I also understand that's how they work. The hope is that they can make money for the studio and create wonderful, wonderful storylines for us GI Joe fans. So when we look at it, we can be like, hey, you know what? This is what we always wanted. This is what we always needed. I feel like GI Joe is prime. You look at the Transformers movies, and I think the first Transformers movie was a good stepping stone. And then the other movies happened. And then the other movies happened. And then you got the Bumblebee movie, which I liked the Bumblebee movie, and I think most people did. In the first 10 minutes, you got to see what we wanted to see from a Transformers movie. And then they said, hey, we're not going to do any more because I don't know. But, they started off good and they went, they lost everything. I don't know. But anyway, that's kind of where we stand now. So, 2 hours into it. We're about to hit the topic, but I need a quick breather. So you're going to hear from, you're going to hear from a couple different people when I can kind of figure out which one I want to play. Here we go.
Welcome back to Late Night with Mothman. Oh man, we've had such a crazy ride so far with all the amazing guests and shows that we've watched throughout this 36-hour stream. And I want to make sure y'all know we got to keep donating. We got to keep getting them numbers up. Skeletor, what are you doing here? Skeletor has come for the circle jerk. Come again? That's the plan. Skeletor, I think you're confused. There's no this is a Late Night with Mothman, so I don't know what you're referring to. Man, Tony's Figs told me I could meet 4 bald men here for a circle jerk. And Skeletor will not leave until he's satisfied. Skeletor, I think you might be confused with the show. It's called Circle of Jerks, and they're not on right now. Then they do a show like every week or every other week or something. I don't watch it. Fool! I promise you, Skeletor is not confused. Skeletor, I'm trying to tell you there's no circle jerk going on here right now.
I got this. Skeletor's what you're looking for is it's back here in the back.
Yes, Skeletor will be satisfied. I don't even know what's happening anymore, guys. So, maybe we just kick back to the 36-hour live stream, and y'all just keep donating money for Toys for Tots. Yeah, Late Night with Mothman, I guess.
Idiots! Incompetent buffoons! What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought! Are you watching that show again?
Yes.
Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture news, discussions, and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode. And hit that bell notification.
All right, be sure tomorrow not only to watch Circle of Jerks at 6:30 p.m. over on Baldy Lock's channel, but also check out over on Pop Blender's channel, Pop Blender and my moderator, Matthew Matson, at 10 p.m., which I need another commercial. Matthew, fine, let me get another commercial. Some better production value. But I do want to say this. As I was watching the Moss Fan Circle Jerks, it actually dawned on me, and I don't know if this was done on purpose or not, and I kind of think it maybe was, or maybe subconsciously from Ted, who does those. When Beastman comes to talk to Skeletor, it is, and that people remember, if you're an old wrestling fan, you're going to remember this. It's like DX. And Beastman being Triple H and Skeletor being Shawn Michaels, and how Triple H would go to Shawn Michaels and be like, dude, come on, no, come over here. You got to come over here. That is exact. And it didn't dawn on me till just now, and the way he did it, because all these clips will pop up on Shawn and Triple H and doing their little skits and everything. That is exactly how it kind of tuned in. So anyway, I happen to notice that. But anyway, the topic was cons. Toy conventions, comic cons, are they for you? And I didn't mean it as in like, hey, are they for you? Like, I meant like, is it something that you enjoy? Is it something you look forward to going to? I know on my Instagram channel, on my Instagram page at Punk with Toys, if you're not, following me yet, please do. Well, only subscribe if you enjoy the content that you see me do. I know we've talked about this before. I'm going to get off track here. Don't ever subscribe, or don't ever start following someone on Instagram if they don't give you content that you enjoy. If somebody subscribes to me that is doing motorcycles, and I'm not into motorcycles, I'm probably not going to follow them back because I'm not interested. And I don't do the one for one. Like, don't badger me because I'm not following you on Instagram. I'm not going to badger you if you don't follow me. But anyway, on Instagram, 44D2, who does, you see him in other chats. He's done some 3D printed stuff. You might see a review, coming from me very soon, with some 3D printed stuff that I got from him. But he said on the picture that I posted for the show, he said, hey, you know what? They're not for me, but glad for all of you, which is the attitude that you should have. Is the attitude that you should have if you don't like going to cons. You shouldn't be like, I hate cons and no one should go. But my thing was, like, there's a lot of cons. We just had ZoloCon, right? Back in November, we had, Assembly Required, which I went to, and we also had Legions Con, which I will probably not be invited to. We just had Toy Fair. I would consider that to be a convention. Here we are going into, we're heading into the summer. We have Joe Lanta. We have Toy Lanta. Obviously, Joe Fest, I think you may have heard me talk about Joe Fest once or twice. We got the DFW show. That's become a bigger show. What is the Tucky? I don't know. There's a Tucky Lanta or Tucky. I don't know. There's some Kentucky show, the G.I. Joe Kentucky show, something like that. There's obviously San Diego Comic-Con. That's the biggest one of all. And my question is, like, are they for you? Are they something that you enjoy? Or do you just look at it and you're like, you know what? I think is cool, but I like my hobby, just my hobby. Now I have my wife, I have my friends here, and I don't need them to mingle. It's the oh yes, the Kentuckiana, which is really weird. Like, do you? Let me insult someone else. Do you really need to combine two words that aren't supposed to combine, just so you can say, "Hey, we're both the Kentucky and Indiana show"? I call it Kentuckiana. Tony's Fig says, since collecting a little more and being active on this kind of social media more than I ever have before, yes, conventions are for me. I love meeting people who are into the same hobby as I am. And there's different types of conventions, different types of cons. There are the local shows, which I'm very surprised at how many Tony and a lot of these other, I think Baldy, they had never gone to like just like your local toy shows, your local Comic Cons. And I'm not even talking like Motor City Comic Con. That is a very large Comic Con, by far the biggest Comic Con in Michigan. But a lot of them had never gone to them. And obviously, as you start to do more YouTube, and we went to Joe Fest, you get to meet people, and you get to, again, you branch out. These people that we have talked to online, that we've done shows with, that we've communicated with over Instagram, Facebook, or wherever, you get to actually meet these people. But there's a lot of people that they have no intention, they have no desire to meet someone. And that's wonderful. If that's how you feel, because I'm not going to tell you how you should or shouldn't feel. There are a lot of introverts that are big in the community, and their way of being extroverted, I guess is the best way to put it, is behind the camera. And even though they may see people and talk to people, they have a fear of being around people. I don't know if it's a fear, but they have anxiety. So it's not something for them. And that's fully understandable. But I do feel like as we get deeper into this community, deeper into YouTube, there's more and more shows. And I talked earlier on about ZoloCon, and we have all those East Coast shows. You even have Articulated Ninja now does the Toy Tuber Expo, where he has a bunch of toy tubers, and they're doing a convention. I know Baldy went to it last year. A lot of other people that don't really like me were there. But it again, sometimes it's a shell to break out and meet other people. And I've talked about it before, like when I go to punk shows, or when I used to be really into punk shows, skateboarding, like you're going somewhere and you're going to talk to those people, you're going to hang out with those people. I feel like when you're collecting toys, you go to the store, I go to Sergeant Reds, I get whatever. And yeah, I'm different because obviously, believe it or not, there are more people that obviously know who I am because of me doing this for so long now. But I'll chat with them, and it's like the gym. Like you meet people that are gym rats, and you talk to them, and then you become friends with them. But it doesn't seem like you really do that too often in your own community. I know Tony has a few, Johnny Reno, and obviously the Gridiron Gang, Quaid and Mark and all them. So he has a few over there, but I know there's even some other guys in Arizona that he hasn't hung out with. Dreadnought Ryan, I'm wearing a shirt. Like he lives like 45 minutes an hour from me. Never met him in person. And we've chatted more than a few times. Pop Leonard jumping in here saying, I love meeting people like Tony's Figs because he makes me feel safe at night, at least while I'm at Joe Fest. Okay, well, you're a bad example. And I mean that because you're a bartender. Like your job is literally mingling with people and getting to know people. So for, in my opinion, you are that perfect You're like, you are that person that like, hell yeah, I want to go. You are wearing a fucking beaver suit. And I'm like, who's this fucking, again, if you guys don't know the story, Joe Fest 24. I'm on a panel from Mega J and Ace from Ramen and Ken and a whole bunch of other guys. And I see someone at the back walking around in a Bucky the Beaver fucking suit. You know, Bucky's. Or as Terry from Circle of Jerks says, Boosies. I'm like, who the a fucking idiot, right? And then we finish and we're going down. I'm walking down. I'm like, oh shit, dude. And there's that stupid idiot with the fucking Bucky suit. And then I see that idiot coming up to me and I'm like, oh shit, I know that idiot. And it was Pop Blender. I still stand by the fact that he's an idiot, but I think he would agree. But with all these different shows, and obviously, the more we talk about them, now, obviously, the one that I've talked about most is Joe Fest, and that's where I've met the most people. But I've also been to Assembly Required. I went to the last PowerCon, but I was only there for a day. I thought, hey, I just drove back from, Florida with my kids. The week before, a 4-hour drive is nothing. It was fucking stupid. It was stupid. But I feel like the more we talk about it, the more we have people wanting to go to Joe Fest. I had more people even ask me, hey, what was AR like? It's a smaller convention. And maybe you don't have the money to get to Joe Fest because you live in the Midwest, but you're like, hey, I can take a 6-hour drive and stay 1 or 2 nights, in Des Moines, Iowa. A wonderful city. Not much there. Not much there. But I feel like we're seeing more and more people that are looking at this as, many of us are in our 50s. Most of us are at least in our 40s, and this is our way to meet people. Now we meet some people we may not like, but we meet people on YouTube that we don't like. Toy Optic says, one day I'll get to Joe Fest. Well, it's much needed. Again, Circle of Jerks, 1 year. I don't think that show's coming to an end anytime soon. G.I. Jetman says, I've never been to a con. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody at Joe Fest. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you've never been to a convention. Like, you've never gone to like a local Comic-Con, a local toy show. And I'm not talking about the big ones. There are plenty of local toy shows and comic shows in my area. And then obviously, like you said, you have, Motor City Comic-Con. They actually do it twice a year now. I don't know if you really need it twice a year, but you start to see that more and more people are. It's not just like going to Joe Fest. Like I said, all the guys on the East Coast, the ZoloCon, and totally blanking on all the other ones. But it is one of those crazy things where we're it seems like it's becoming becoming a bigger thing for more and more people in this community, because we finally get to meet each other. And I know in 24, going back, for Joe Fest, meeting, like Tony, who I've done numerous shows with, and I talked to, it wasn't like meeting somebody. I felt I already knew Tony. And there was other people the same way. But then there were these other people that, you've chatted with, but you're actually getting to meet them. And you'll find yourself sitting down for an hour or a half hour talking to somebody that you've had very little conversations with on the internet, whether it be through YouTube chats, Instagram, or whatever, and then you end up spending 45 minutes talking with them, really getting to know them. I don't think I really knew Pop all that well. And then, he came right up to me. I was the first person I think that he saw when he got there. He was super excited to tell Darren because he said he knew Darren was going to be really mad about it. Story for another time. But do you guys find yourself wanting to go to more toy shows now than what you did before the YouTube explosion of finding different toy tubers? Can't believe I refer to myself as a toy tuber. But do you find yourself wanting to connect, or are you still like, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm good with seeing this Yahoo on TV. Oh, and I guess I'm on someone's TV. Sorry to any significant others that your husband or boyfriend is watching me on the big screen TV. It's not a nice sight. I should really shave this. Probably going to do it after this, to be 100% honest. It's really starting to bug me. But is this something that you're going to look to do? Are you going to try and do stuff? Do you look for, I know people hate exclusives. I think exclusives are great. It kind of, not only are exclusives like it's something cool where it's like it's an incentive to go there, it also incentivizes you to befriend new people, to see if somebody else can get something for you. And again, not in that way of like, oh, I thought you tried to make friends to be friends. Again, stupid fucking comment. But yeah. Let's see. Billy Boy Toy says, I went to school with a Clint Jorgensen, I think. Okay. I think you must be talking to Clint. 3-star says, oh yeah, while I was sweating my ass off out. Okay, you could not have been out that long. All right. Literally, Pop came up to me. We chatted for 45 seconds, Pop. Then he went and checked in. He's like, you were not sweating your ass off that bad. Commander Wolf said, would love to go to Joe Fest. It's not just Joe Fest, because there's 100 other shows, and I don't know where you're located at. Again, on the East Coast, there's so many. And again, you see guys like Jerk and Gaines are always doing all these shows. Woody's going to them. Baldy's going to more. You're getting to meet different creators. And, they're showing up. And it just seems like it's not even, it no longer has just become for so many a once a year thing. Like Joe Fest for a lot is just, it's a lot of us is just, it's that one time. But are you looking to do more? I was talking to Zakanin, and he has like 5 or 6 different cons that he is doing in 2026. And that's crazy. But again, he's also, he's not tied. He's also older. I think he's like 52 or 53. Might even be 54, somewhere around there. Anyway, he doesn't have kids to tie him down. And again, I'm not, anyone that has kids knows that, they cost a good amount of money. But he has things, where he's going to go. So it's not just like one convention that they're going to, where a lot of these guys from across the pond, they come over here and it's their one trip per year, which is absolutely amazing. But anyway, Pop Leonard says, hey man, you gave me half of your pizza that weekend. That's true friendship. I actually gave you Baldy's. I actually gave you Baldy's part of the pizza that he decided he didn't want. But again, we all like most, like, I don't think we came across anyone that's like, that had the pizza or the cheese balls or cheese sticks that were like, no, you can't have any. I think we're all pretty like, dude, fucking, I'm not eating the whole fucking pizza. So M Hatfield says, I'm going to Joe Fest for the first time this year. Can't wait. And please, okay, first off, M Hatfield, say hi to everyone. Like, if you see me, please come up to me. But do not come up to me with your real name. All right. Say, hey, I'm M. Hatfield or Johnny, whatever your name is. Right? Or say, I'm Johnny M. Hatfield. Like, that's how you need to let people know who you are, because that's what we see. That's my tip to you. But seriously, make sure you talk to people. I had people I know in 24 said, "Oh, I saw you, but you were talking to someone, so I didn't come." No. Like, don't come up and interrupt. Like, don't, like, if you're in the middle of a conversation with someone, don't come up and be super rude. And I think you know the types of people. But go up to me or whoever it is, Tony, and just kind of you tap someone on the shoulder and say, "Hey, I just want to say hi. I'm so and so." And a lot of times it's a way for us to break a conversation with someone else, because we might be sitting there for 45 minutes. I do a fucking 3-hour show on Monday alone. So you can imagine when I get someone else to talk to, how bad it can be. Ed says, I might be going to Joe Fest. Haven't decided if I can stand another weekend of. I'm kind of a big deal. Okay. I would just like to point out that you guys, especially you, but Tony too, you guys are the one that constantly said it about me more than anything. And then you try and gaslight me into thinking that I'm the one that's always saying it, when really you guys are the ones that are saying it about me. And then it backfires on you when someone stops us. And you're going. I know you are. The 80s Joe says, I'm going to Emerald City Comic Con on Thursday. Hopefully Kentucky Anna this summer. Yo, Joe. So it sounds like you're one of the people that enjoy going to the show. And I enjoy going to the shows. Like, a lot of times I won't go to like the local shows just because like I can get anything that I want or that I need. And again, with having such a good relationship with Sergeant Reds, pretty much I can say, hey, John, do you have this stuff when it comes to like the Real American Hero? And I can get it. But I still like to go to some of these shows, and I'm not looking for people to know who I am. A matter of fact, I don't really get a lot of people here that know who I am, which isn't really shocking because there's not like total Joe-centric shows. Believe it or not, Joe Fest is way different when it comes to that. And so Commander Wolf says Zolocon is on the list for next year. Zolocon is one I'd be definitely interested in. I would like to do Legions Con. I feel like Legions Con is, I don't want to say it's the closest to Joe Fest, but it is a Joe Fest style for the fantasy stuff, right? It's not military based. And if you're into the fantasy stuff, you're going to enjoy it. But the biggest thing for me, and we've talked about it, and I was going to say, oh yeah, you don't have to buy anything. You were always buying stuff. I can buy everything that I want on day one. And then Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, all day Saturday. I don't have to buy anything else. It's about the meeting the friends that you might see only once a year. And you're going to spend days. Again, there will be people that I spend more time with. This might come as a shock to some people. And I feel like some people don't understand this. I'm better friends with certain people than others. It doesn't mean I don't like other people, but more than likely, Tony and Ed and myself, probably Darren, like some of us are going to hang out a little bit more than with other people. It doesn't mean we don't like other people. Just like there's other guys that will hang out with, with each other more than us. Some people have an issue with that, and they think like you're being rude or something, but it's like the playground. Like when you were in elementary school, there were just people you hung out with more. It didn't mean you didn't go out and, jump on the monkey bars with other friends and stuff like that. So, Jay Soul Art says, Lawrence, believe it or not, I'm still embarrassed about this hobby as much as I love it. cons allow me to meet people like me. And that's, well, first off, you should not be embarrassed by it. But if you are, you are. I mean, I'll say this, and again, I think a lot of this goes to growing up as a punk rocker and a skateboarder. I never gave a fuck what someone thought about me. I kind of wish my daughter felt a little bit more like that right now. I think she kind of feels like that too. But if you are, again, it is a weird thing to kind of explain to some people. But this, like, you're the perfect person that I'm talking to, right? Like, you don't really talk to people about it. No one really knows. But when you go to these shows, you have no reason to be embarrassed, right? There's probably guys that skateboard that feel the same way. Like, yeah, I don't really tell people that I skateboard, especially at this age. But when I go to the skate park, I'm there and I don't have to worry about being embarrassed because everyone there is doing the exact same thing, right? But yeah, and like you're the absolute perfect person to hear from. That, yeah, I love going to these because it allows me to connect with these people that I only see on YouTube. And a lot of guys don't do YouTube. Yeah, you have a YouTube channel because you're technically in the chat, and anyone that has a YouTube account, they have a YouTube channel. Doesn't mean you do anything with it, right? So I find that, again, I find that a lot of people, and that's what I'm wondering, like, how many people are just like, I want to connect with other people like-minded like me. But yeah, Grizzlehorn jumping in saying, Maryland Toy Expo is my next con. And then there are certain people that will hit all kinds of. Terrence, he does show after show after show. He's traveling. And he does a lot for the community. If you know Terrence and you want an exclusive, he's usually the guy that will, if you know him, he'll get it for you. And again, that goes back to making friends and not enemies, which I probably made a whole bunch of enemies earlier today, but that's just me. It says it's okay. Tony and I got a lot of time to look around while you were grabbing. I think you mean gabbing. 3-Star says that Kentuckiana show is a good show. I've heard it's a good show. It's one you can pretty much see everything in a day. Another one that's going to end up growing and being a good show is the Titans Toy here in Nashville. And I think we're going to see more and more start to grow. Eventually, I think we'll get to the point where we get saturated with too many. And that's when you start losing creators that can go to them all. And that's actually kind of to be expected, to be 100% honest. But yeah, it's one of those, it's one of those crazy things that, we're going to see more and more, and we'll see who can bring in the creators and bring in different creators and different guests. That does make the show grow. And some people, hey, they just want to put on shows so vendors can make some money. They're not looking to grow it. I look at AR and I feel like it is growing, but at the same time, Brian Sauer's like, hey, the more it grows, the more work it costs me. No one here, like, I don't care, right? Like, I don't care that I love to see that show grow. I would love that to be an every year show for me because it's an 8-hour, 9-hour drive. The guy I do the TV terminal with, he lives right down the street, so it works out. We're going to have Skeletron. That's what I look forward to. But I also like to go to some of these East Coast ones because that's probably the only way I'll ever meet like Toy Gaines and Jerk. Woody I'll meet at, Joe Fest this year. So, we're going to meet a lot. I'd meet a lot of those people if I went over to the East Coast. But, you kind of have to pick and choose when you're trying to do bigger shows. But there's still a lot of little shows that a lot of people still absolutely love to go and do. And Billy Boy says, it seems like there are cliques. There's no doubt about it. but it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. And again, there's just in life people that you get along with better. There's just some people that you just have a connection with, and you could sit there and talk all night with. There's shit that you can't say on YouTube. I'll just leave it at that. MCR says, I've heard Punk is besties with ATKM. I can't be, because ATKM's bestie is David Speck. Toy Optics and Speck, they're like super tight. And Jet Jetman says, Ed, I hope you're gonna go to Joe Fest. He is because well, if he doesn't go, he owes me half the money for the room at least. Matthew says, yes, the toy collecting community is like an elementary school playground. 100% honest. Yep, you are absolutely correct. And again, just because there's a clique doesn't mean that you don't like other people, and doesn't mean you're not going to talk to other people. I don't think there was one time in 2 years that I started talking to somebody, and the guys that I'm closest with, like Tony and Ed, were like, how dare you talk to them? They're not part of our clique. Now, there are people that are like that in this community. I know in the Motu community, I've heard numerous things about a couple guys that they're like, dude, if you're going to be friends with them, like, we can't be friends, which is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard in my entire life. If one man or one person ever tells you that, hey, you can't be friends with that person because I don't like him, your job is to look at that guy and say, fuck you. Get the fuck out of my face. I'll just say that. Don't ever let one man tell you who you can and can't be friends with. And there are guys in this community that will tell you that. Nowhere Manchild jumping here saying, I'll be at Joe Fest. I'll be at DFW Joe Show in May. 4th year in a row for me. Love meeting the OG Joe creators there, plus getting to talk in person with friends like Mamu Nestor. No, Mamu Nestor. He's gonna yell at me, just like if you call him Matt. No, and that's absolutely awesome. And that's another thing. Like, when you go, like, this will be my 3rd year going to Joe Fest. So there are certain people, especially the guys from, across the pond, that this is where they go every single year. And you would, and he said, this is your 4th year. So you've met Matthew every single year. You probably see Matthew and it's like you saw him the week before or a couple weeks before, and like nothing's changed, and you're bullshitting. And a lot of it also helps because of the social media connection that we all have. And again, the more and more I see these conventions, the more I just think it's such a good place. And I'm not going to say a safe place, because it's not a safe place. Every place in this world should be a safe place. We're collectors, but yeah, it is a bar where not everyone's drunk, but then sometimes people do get drunk. Convention is the exact place you should feel comfortable about this hobby, because you're surrounded by tons of people who also love it as well. And also people that just like Bucky Beaver. There's no bitches there, Eric. I will say this, Tony, you are wrong. There are a few hotties at Joe Fest, but they're always connected and attached with someone else. There are no single hotties at Joe Fest. Andrew Taylor jumping in saying, looking forward to Toylanta at the end of the month. It's doubled in size this year. Toylanta, yeah, I believe that and Joe Lanta have both been growing. It's crazy. Georgia has some of the biggest cons when you think about it. Toylanta, Joe Lanta, Joe Fest. Isn't Dragon Con, is that there too? They have a bunch of really good ones. There's no doubt about that at all. Which I think is awesome. Yes, only one person. Only one person. And I signed it because it had to do with the big joke of Larry Neck, the leather neck classified. That was the only reason. Now, Darren, I believe Darren had us all signed, just like I. So I'm going to be doing the exact same thing that I did last year. And I know Darren had us, Darren, I believe it was you, right? Where you had us sign like the book. And I do the same thing. Like I print out my pictures that I have from Joe Fest. I'm going to do it this year. And then everyone that I took a picture with, I try and get their signature. Now, I'm not trying to get their autograph. I just want and Darren actually gave me the idea. And I see at the bottom, he mentioned that. I got the idea from Darren that he wasn't seeking people's autographs. What he was trying to do was he wanted that memory of hey, I want you to write something quickly in this book for that memory of everyone that was here with me. And that's where I got the idea. I just decided to take all the pictures. And if you weren't in a picture, you didn't sign the book. There was one person I had that signed the book, but he was there the year before. Is actually where I met him. And I don't know why I didn't have a picture with him. So you'll see, I take a lot of pictures. Almost everyone that I meet, I try and take a picture with or try and get the picture. Not only so we can show it, but it's that memory. Because every single person that you meet, there is some sort of connection, but I don't consider that an autograph. And I know I saw Darren over here. Because I have the stream going, mentioned something about the autographs. I'm really far behind. Yeah, he says, man, I've gotten your autograph twice. But yeah, you didn't ask. Yeah, yours was a memory book. And, I'm so boisterous about things. I think a lot of people will take a step back and be like, what a dick. But again, what Darren was doing, I'll tell you what, I have 3 autographs that I've asked someone. 2, Tony Magnuson and Ron Allen, 2 pro skateboarders. I asked them to sign my H Street skateboard when they were at the Modern Skate 40th anniversary, just because I thought it was cool to have them, because that was really that team. Those 2 videos are really what broke me into, made me fall in love with skateboarding more than what I already was. It put me down that trajectory. And the other one is Bruce Campbell, which he came up earlier, where I had him sign my Army of Darkness comic book. The only 3 autographs. I'm not an autograph seeker. And I know people wait for Sergeant Slaughter. I'm not. I don't think anyone is better than me, and I don't think I'm better than anyone. So I don't want anyone's autograph, but having that signature for the memory, that I think is actually pretty damn cool. It's something that I definitely do enjoy, and I'm looking forward to it again. Clinton Jorgensen says, just know Punk doesn't carry a pen, so if you want his autograph, bring your own. I don't. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I do not at all. Cooking with Eric says, I need that Bees Battlegrounds Grail sticker. He has a couple stickers, actually. Billy Boy says, yeah, I didn't think I would ask anyone for an autograph. Now, again, there's not one toy tuber, even though some of them, like Dan Larson, Pixel Dan, and Shartimus, some of these bigger ones, they they get asked to come in and do autograph signings, there is not one toy tuber that is. Okay, I don't think anyone is worthy enough for an autograph. Again, that's just me. But none of us are like, we're just someone that's willing to get on this thing and talk. Not everyone is willing to do it. We're no better, no worse than anyone else. Some of us are just willing to get up here and make the fool out of ourselves where other people aren't. And that's fully, that's fine. It doesn't really change anything. But yeah, Ed says this, I'm just walking next to Punk with pictures of him and some Sharpies. $5 for an autograph. I'll get my whole trip paid for and maybe buy a soda with it. Well, you heard it first. If you want my autograph, you have to ask Ed because Ed will be carrying the Sharpie. I guess Ed is now my manager. That's awesome. Take pictures. I mean, that's what I would say. Just say, hey, dude, after you're talking or you see someone, say, hey, dude, can I get a picture with you? I've always loved that. Like, to me, that's just a little bit more fun. Just a little bit more fun. Dan Larson is a subordinate by Valaverse stuff at Zolicon. Oh, Dan Larson had a subordinate by Valaverse. Yeah, he took a lot of shit. I can tell you, I've had 3 interactions with Dan Larson. One at Joe Fest, one at Sergeant Reds, and one at PowerCon. And at PowerCon, he recognized me because I was wearing a Sergeant Red shirt, and he talked to me. He remembered me at Joe Fest because I helped him figure out where he needed to go, and obviously he remembered me again. He probably recognized the face. Had no idea who I really was. Never had a bad thing to say. Was super nice. Chatted. I hear him take a lot of shit. I've never had an issue with the guy, and I think the guy's actually a really nice guy. So I've heard a few people just kind of ragging on him, and again, I've had really good interactions with him. So, but anyway, I don't think there's very much more to say. I do want to show something, and I think this is going to be. Actually, I know this is going to be the 2026 Joe Fest exclusive sticker. So last year, I did the Roman sticker. I'm out of these. I'll probably actually order some more. Matthew, I actually have the stickers downstairs ready to send you. I just have to get the other things out of the box. But I decided, you know what? I need to have an actual exclusive Joe Fest sticker. I'll have the regular ones. I'll have the regular, Punk with Toy stickers. I might even have some other Roman. I'll have the Circle of Jerks, but I wanted to have something only for Joe Fest 2026. And this is going to be it. So this is a sticker that I will be ordering. I have the Joe Fest logo behind it, 2026. And if you look very closely, you'll see that Roman Duke is, his bowl has some very special treats in it. I also think that I'm going to put this on some merch that will go up on the site. So, and I'll have it up there just after Joe Fest, and then it's going to go away. When I do put it up there, again, if this is something you're interested in getting, I have this regular shirt up there now. Then you can find that in the description for the merch. But I think I'm going to put this shirt up for the maybe 2 months leading into Joe Fest, and then when I get back from Florida, I'm gonna pull it down. This will be the only time that it's available. So if it's something that you're interested in, and the only way you're gonna be able to get the stickers is at the con. I'm not going crazy and ordering 700 stickers. There will be a limited amount, and when they're done, they're done. When I'm done giving them out, that's it, man. I'll have some kept for myself, because I'm a crazy collector. So, but if you are interested, this is the sticker that I think, actually, I know I'm going to do. I'm not the, we need to come up with something that you want to do for Club Tarkin. Like, we have to have an actual idea here. I don't care. You can order the Club Tarkin stickers. Why am I the one that has to buy everything? But yeah, so again, if you're at Joe Fest, I will be handing out stickers, as I always do. If you have a YouTube channel and you are going to a con, you should have stickers to pass out. You should have stickers to pass out. It is the best promotion. It is cheap. It is easy. And you can buy 100, 200, 300 stickers for like $50. And it is great promotion for your channel. But anyway, this is what I'll have. And like I said, I will be putting it up on the merch site. Probably it's in June. So probably in May, beginning of May. And then when I get back from Florida, I'll pull it down. So if anyone is interested in this, hey, you know what? Grab it. Even if you're not going to be there, that's the one way that you can get it. But I will say this. Those Joe Fest stickers are only going to be for people at Joe Fest. So I'll send other ones out to people. And like if you want like this one or Circle Jerks, or if I end up getting another restock of these, I'll send these out to people. And again, the email to get a hold of me is punkbtoys@gmail.com. If you're interested in stickers, you can just message me there, and I'll, with your email, with your address, and I'll get them out to you. But those Joe Fest ones, I don't think that's an incentive to get anyone to come to Joe Fest. But just know that if you want one and you're there, ask me if I don't already give it to you. MCR says, stick the stickers on people without them noticing. That would be the best promotion. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I've never liked people doing shit like that. Just especially as you get older, you know what I mean? Like just don't just come up and touch me. All right? If I don't know you, don't just come up and touch me. But anyway, that's it. I don't really have anything else. I believe we're doing a show tomorrow on the Circle of Jerks over at Baldy's channel, Baldy Locks Reviews. If you are not, if you're not subscribed there, you should be. We'll have lots of laughs. Maybe Tony will actually join us. It's hard to tell. Toy Optics usually joins us from an unsecure location. We wait for Baldy's mom to kick us out. Terry usually bounces out of nowhere in the middle of conversation, which is always very adorable how he does it. But anyway, I'm going to get going because guess what? I work in the morning. I have to get a little child to school in the morning, not right now. Toy Optic says, deep down, Punk wants to be touched. Don't listen to him. Well, it all depends. It all depends. Clint says, staying home from Go Fest, so I can hopefully make Joe Fest. Well, good. It was nice seeing you. Like you kind of sprung in and then like you were gone. Like no one really got to see you. Like you sprung in, and then if people were like, "Yeah, did you see Clint?" I'm like, "I did," but then we couldn't find you again. And I know you had all kinds of driving back, and it was great meeting your wife. I got to tell Clint's wife how his name is actually pronounced. I think it was pretty sad that Clint Jorgensen never told his wife exactly. But when I said it, she's like, "Oh, you're punk," which I found was very comical. My stickers will have a special sticky tape this year. I can't wait. Tony knows what I'm talking about. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. The Circle of Jerks cookie stickers, they also have a special sticky substance on them too, courtesy of Spec. So I'm gonna get out of here. We will see you guys all tomorrow on Circle of Jerks at 6:30 p.m. over on Baldylocks channel. Then jump on over Pop Blender's channel for the evening blend with Pop and Matthew. And then this Thursday, I will have John from Top Fun Retro Toys, who's doing some of the best 3D printed weapons. He is a real life former Marine. And I'll have him on to chat at 9 p.m. But I'm going to get out of here. You guys all have a wonderful night, and I will see you tomorrow.